welcome, and shout out. And thank you, my wonderful first officer, for that wonderful intro, even if it does lie at the beginning a little bit. I love
That's
you.
not fake news. Come on.
That's fake.
True. No, it's not.
Thank you, number one. Hello, everyone, all my good friends out there. Thank you for joining us here at Clobbe'S Clubhouse, issue number, whatever it is, 5, 6, I don't know, one of those. Maybe it's 4, maybe 5, something. Big shout out to my wonderful first officer for joining me tonight. Hey, making that lovely intro. RM Briggs, thank you, number one.
Oh, you're very welcome, comic genius captain.
She lies. I don't know anything about comics.
Lies.
Nothing but lies. Mark,
everyone in the chat, support me. Support me. Please put in the chat, Clobby is a comic genius. Just put that in the chat for me, please. And just keep repeating it and repeating it.
I will not have mutiny on the board.
How do you spell genius? I always spell it wrong.
Yeah, at least do that. At least spell it wrong if you're going to do it. So you can upset the grammar police. And hail to the great Mark D with a C, the greatest chief engineer in the fleet. Yay.
Hi, everyone. Chief. Good evening. Yeah, that's an awesome intro. Love it.
Right, Clobby is a comic's genitals or whatever.
What?
What's up, my
look,
friend?
It's all rolling in.
Don't
They're
do that,
helping
Sherry.
me rub it in. I love you. Woo! Ooh, we have an absolute comic genius.
Now, Sherry, you're supposed to be on my side. Come on now, the ladies.
Love you, Sherry. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate that. Oh, thank you, and thank you, everyone. It's good to see everyone. Who do we have here this evening already? We have again the lovely and wonderful Shelly. Not Shelly. I'm just kidding. I got your name wrong just to teach you a lesson. No, Sherry. Great to see you, dear. Thank you.
Evening.
The great Eric K. What's up, buddy?
Hello, sweetheart. I hope you're feeling better.
Yes.
I'm thinking about you. I'm sending you a very soft hug.
I'm sending you a very firm handshake.
Well, not too firm. He's not feeling well.
Okay, very light handshake, but good.
Yes. Clobby, you're gigantic. Okay. You look like true. The thing in real life. You cannot give a firm handshake.
Compliments will get you nowhere. I look like Arisham, actually, because something else doesn't that we were talking about in a little bit there. Now, Stuart Mitchell. Now and forever, never forget. The war continues. Dolly had braces.
Dolly had railroad tracks.
And the master of the Clobbonis here, Hungry Boy.
Woohoo!
What's up, my brother? Thank you for being here tonight with us. Let's see here. Who else is here? JPRPH John. Thank you for popping in. Great to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Kal-El. Good to see you, man.
Hello,
Thank
Kal-El.
you. It's great to see you, buddy. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, now there's gonna be some more. Captain James Taylor Scott Walker. What's up, bud?
Evening.
Good to see you.
Chris Persia's here.
The great master of all that is French Canadian, Chris Persia. What's up, my buddy?
Fulaki.
What she said, because I can't pronounce it.
It just means kissy in Greek. It's like you're blowing kisses.
Kisses. I take it back.
We'll take it back. Yeah.
You don't want to blow Chris any kisses.
Men in Europe kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, Chris doesn't want any kisses from me, so I'm sorry.
No, especially not kissies. So
Fulaki
is like kissy, like in the air, kissy.
Yeah.
So you don't want that.
Well, with my European background, my dad's side, I would, I'd give him, you kiss when you greet, 1, 2, 3, and then I did it to my uncle one time. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah,
forgot what side of the family you're with.
Yes, exactly. Because on the other side of the pond, for many of us, that's base politeness. A kiss on either side of the cheek, even with a stranger, is base politeness. And sometimes your lips don't even touch their face. But in Italy, in Greece, in many countries, it's base politeness. It's not, and it knows no gender. So men do it to men, and nothing is implied. So I feel you there, Mark.
Well, there you go.
See,
we're not the only. Sorry, I have some. There's a certain creature we know still at one of those that meetup thingy. Do you know, Mark?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I was just. I just survived. I just survived Eternal. So.
Yeah, the eternity.
Remember what I said about a 1 in a million chance. I mean, it was just so awesome. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was. Not.
Well, I don't want to interrupt your hellos though. So.
No, I think we got it. We will of course greet our dear friends as they pour in. We're a little bit like an hour later than usual, folks.
Yeah.
What's up?
Stuart Mitchell. Wesley had bracelets.
Wesley did, yeah, and
pimple probes.
Dolly shot first. oh.
Fire the pimple probe.
They did cure acne in the future, didn't they?
I don't know. They had no cure for Wesley. There's only one cure for him.
I'm afraid I don't know. But like I said, everyone, I need a shirt that reads, "I survived a viewing of Marvel's Eternals, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt."
Did you all hear that? Eternals. Team Metamucil for the win.
And now I have something to show you all. I just posted that on what I just said to you. I just posted that on Twitter a few minutes ago and then on Facebook. And look what happened. This is the instantaneous. What? This is the internet.
You got blocked?
What?
No, on Facebook.
What?
You'll see.
Okay, honey.
Eventually. There you go. Yes, that somebody posted that on Facebook right after I posted it on Facebook.
Look at that.
I know it's tough to see.
And in all caps too. I love it.
I know it's tough to see, but
no, it's great. But it should be on 2 lines. So it should be I survived a viewing of and then return Marvel's Eternals.
And the Eternals got to be big in the middle.
Yes, and then a tiny bit smaller, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
Well, he did it like literally in about 2 seconds.
Yes.
So I mean, I couldn't have posted it more like 5-10 minutes. 5 minutes ago tops.
He did a wonderful job.
Thank you, Dean, if you're out there, but just a Facebook friend and a good dude that we have a lot of mutual friends. So appreciate that.
Hey, that could be your first merch, Clobberin.
Oh yeah, there you go. That could be. That's a good call.
Well, and the Cloboni. I think the Cloboni, I mean, cleaning up popular culture, cleaning up corporate comic books. The Cloboni is set to do that.
Let's see. When the woke critics rated this movie at whopping 53 on Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, but seriously, here's the thing. That's not usually how this has been working. It did in this case, but usually when a film, just any film, for example, gets really high ratings by the critics, it's usually, not always, but it's usually bad. I mean, and it gets a terrible score from human beings who actually go and watch movies that aren't shills. And then a lot of times something that most of us the fans hate, it goes through the roof. So it's usually one or the other. I mean, this is the first time in a while I've seen it where and I know it's just an aggregate thingy. So I was almost going, even though we were talking all kind of shit about it today and even the past couple of days and weeks, Mark, I was still like, I'm almost going, it probably just will be not all that good, but nowhere near as bad as everyone's saying, just because it's almost never when you hear all the hype one way or the other, good hype, bad hype. It's almost never that. It's almost like somewhere in the middle. Usually like, wow, I was so ready for this thing to be the worst thing I've ever seen. And it was just sort of, and then the other way around. Oh, I was heard this is so great. And then it's like, well, this time
there were some good things in it.
Yeah, we got to leave with our. We got to leave.
I mean,
the
wait. We had Pink
before
Floyd.
We go any further, I want to interject because I just want to say that Clobby touches on something that's happening in popular culture that I think is a really salient point, and that is the fact that the internet has created an attention economy, and now we can't trust the critics. There is no Siskel and Ebert anymore to tell us whether something is good or bad. And so now you look at this aggregated data, you look at these user-generated sites, and you really start to think to yourself, what's happening here? Because, when Clobby says a lot of these people are shilling, they really are. And you can see this in this huge divide betwixt the viewer and these so-called critics, and these in many cases these critics are nobodies. They're people who operate a blog on WordPress. So Clobby, I really loved that you brought that up, and that's
Well,
really something that consumers are very frustrated by. And it's this idea of these people get paid on their websites, they get merchandise, they're given swag bags, they want to attract the corporation, they want to attract the people involved in the production, and they want to get that attention, and they're pretty desperate for it. So we wind up with all of these positive reviews, even though it's what we're watching is shite. So people are now turning to their friends, and they're turning to YouTube, to regular people, to figure out whether or not something is true or false. So I absolutely love that you brought that up, because when Rotten Tomatoes went wild with these terrible reviews, we were sort of left in thinking to ourselves, well, these people always lie. So what's going to be the response here? Is the movie going to be terrific, or is it, or are they finally telling the truth? And isn't that a weird circumstance that we can no longer trust our quote unquote critics?
It talks for a long time. Again, you weren't even here, but there you go. It shows how much we have in common, because that was something I brought up today about. In fact, I talked about Siskel and Ebert, and not just them, Rex Reed, all these other old style critics of the 70s and 80s and 90s, and how they don't exist anymore. Especially when Ebert might have been, whatever, you don't like him or not, or whether you agree with him or not, he might have been the last of the critics.
Yeah.
And that don't take any crap off of anybody. And it's not that I liked him so much. I respected him because he and Siskel, when they gave you an opinion, and we talked about that today on the Global Geeking. I mean, when they gave you an opinion, whether you liked it or not, whether you thought they were full of crap or not, I never doubted that it was their opinion, that they liked it or they didn't like it. I never thought they were, and there were a few critics like that. Some I couldn't stand, but I never did it in my mind. Like, I don't believe they're saying what they mean. And the reason is that's because they did many, many negative reviews of things, even things I liked. Whereas if you're never doing any negative reviews, then it starts to smell a little bit. You're like, okay, yeah, you're a shill. And so, but
yeah, our society has changed so much, because before we used to have these critics that were always forcing these highbrow ideas. And so we couldn't have things that we enjoyed, because sometimes they would shoot our movies down, our nerdy and our geeky movies down in flames, because they weren't highbrow enough for them. And so that was the struggle in our society. Now our struggle is this attention economy, where it's just rando style people giving their reviews, and they are polluted by this idea of wanting to connect with the IP, wanting to connect with that corporation, and giving that positive review, getting kickbacks, getting these gifts, and so on and so forth. So it's very frustrating for the public, really frustrating. And isn't it bizarre, as I'm Gen X and Clobby is barely a boomer, but isn't it crazy how much things have changed in such a short period of time? When we used to distrust the critics, it's because they were being too bourgeoisie, and we were the proletariats. And
Kale,
Pauline Kael and all this elitists.
Yeah.
Yes, but at least
you knew,
you
like,
believed
at least
them.
Yeah, and also Siskel and Ebert, I kind of, most of the time I agreed with Ebert, but then if I didn't, it's, I don't agree with him. But like you said, you knew where he's coming from. It wasn't paid off. And you kind of got to pick critics that kind of like the movies that you like. So you knew Siskel and Ebert there were movies they liked or disliked, sometimes just based on the genre, but you kind of knew that too. Take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
So,
but you believed them. You believed them.
And you believed them. But now with the access media, you'd never know. So that's why,
there are no critics anymore. None.
Yeah, we're providing the service on YouTube now, I guess. So it's, but then you find someone you can trust. Like maybe R&B, I thought the movie was okay. Usually I'm kinder to
like
movies,
them,
but I think if you read the original comics, it'll turn you off even more to the movie.
Well, I'm gonna compliment the movie right now. You ready?
Okay, let's hear it.
We'll be beating up on it tomorrow. I mean, talking about it up tomorrow a lot as well, everyone. But just to give a little brief rundown, this movie broke a record, a Clobby personal record. Some movies take me a whole anywhere 2 to 4 to 8, 10 minutes or so to start pissing me off. This one took a millisecond. There was nothing on the screen but black background and words in the opening little crawl, and already I was freaking. I said, "That's it. Screw you." I sat there anyway, but right there,
I was like 3 minutes late. So what did I miss? What was the?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, you needed to get to sit there for like 40 minutes of trailer, so.
Yeah, no, we had a ticket snafu. So my daughter was going and she bought tickets for the 6:30 show tomorrow. Right. So I had to like rush and get her the right tickets, and we made it. But yeah, we didn't have to sit through a bazillion trailers. Well,
obviously I was so blinded by anger, I can't give you verbatim now. Maybe I should have taken a picture, but basically it boils down to, it was not even the gaming crap, Hungry Boy, because remember, the gaming crap is still in the normal Marvel universe where they, it's based off of Jack. It's just they do their own thing with it. The origin, there's no Olympia on Earth. We find out later it's a planet. The Celestials, who look friggin' horrible, by the way. There's no, and I'll get to that point in a second. The Celestials basically created that group, the Eternals, to go to Earth to fight deviants, and the deviants are all just these stupid monsters. In other words, as you know, in the original origin by Kirby, they went to Earth, they took primates, and they made three disparate, quote unquote, versions of the same race. You had Eternals, you had humans, and you had deviants. Deviants weren't monsters running around that looked like silly dinosaurs. They were mutated, messed up people. There were later, of course, as you know, primitive people mistook for devils and demons and things like that, but they were intelligent, sentient beings. Eternals, of course, were eternal. They all had the same powers. There's some differing powers, but they could all fly. That's out of there. There's no, you know how Olympia is Olympus? That's gone. They just later mentioned that it's a planet. So they're basically biological constructs created to fight deviants, and they are instructed to not interfere in anything with mankind other than protecting them from deviants. None of that's Kirby. It's crap.
They're peahards, actually. They're all robots.
Before we go any further, as the boys here, or the gentlemen here, begin to speak about this new version, I want you to know that as a nerd, so I'm not a geek, I don't know anything about comics, but I will tell you this. I watched the most interesting show hosted by Clobby and Mark and Nick Weiser, and they discussed the original gangsta, the OG Eternals. And so if you would like to know more information about the old school Eternals, the original Kirby Eternals, I would definitely encourage you to look through Clobby's video collection, and please watch that show, because it was very informative, very enlightening. They gave a lot of information. And so if you're just bringing yourself up to speed on all of this and you want to know more, the good stuff, the real stuff, Clobby did have a show with Mark and Nick, and they all discussed it. And of course, there were other comic book experts there as well. Hungry Boy was there. Phantom Outsider was there. There were several experts there, all adding to this wonderful conversation about the original Eternals. So that is out there, folks, if you would like to watch it. And so now I'm going to give way to the boys. Rip this sucker apart, guys.
Well, this is Arishem right here. He looked like absolute dog shit in the movie. All the Celestials did. And of course, does anyone care about spoilers? Because I'm spoiling. I have no respect for this thing, so I'm spoiling the hell out of it.
Arishem actually was the only thing that was semi-Kirby-esque in the whole movie, right?
I don't think he was Kirby-esque at all. Look at that.
I mean, but like with a faint glimmer of,
but not from the head down, under the head. He was terrible.
I'm just saying.
Could we please put a ticker up that says spoilers? Just so we don't upset people. Could we engage the ticker and just put spoilers, eternal spoilers along the bottom? Because if you guys are going to let all the cats out of the bag and all the cats are going to go running around fighting one another, let's make sure that we let people know.
And put P.S. it stunk.
yes. P.S. it was horrid.
I guess I will have to make one.
Well, you
Do we
can just
really
do a
need this?
banner right now in StreamYard, right? Just type it in.
Yeah,
Right?
I know, but it takes more effort than this movie deserves.
Well, this is for the listeners, though. Yeah.
Yes, it's for the listeners, but yes, it's okay if
We're
it's
doing
too
them a
much trouble.
favor.
Yeah. But I mean, there was nothing in this movie that I'm agreeing with you, looked like Kirby, but that was like the only. I mean, he was big at least, and like the hand, but there was really.
I'm gonna find a picture of it from the movie. It's really bad.
Well,
Thank
there's
you,
one
Chris
there.
Persia.
Yeah, the
I
final
really
trailer,
appreciate it. Thank you so much. You are absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Chris.
What I was hoping for was at least some gorgeous machinery. If I was the director,
None
I'd
of
have copied some of Kirby's machinery, and then maybe
Right.
at the end had a slideshow or like had used some of those glorious Kirby 2 sheets, and then shown them, and then like faded into the movie and shown how you like recreated it in a movie.
Yes.
So what am I missing?
You can't see
Missing
it.
something funny in the chat.
You can't see.
Look at the ticker.
Oh,
I can't
Actually,
even.
This movie comes pre-spoiled. Okay, I'm gonna actually say thank you to the people that made this movie. Now you're all gonna be shocked, but I really mean this from the heart. Now, okay. Thank you, Chloe Zhao and Kevin Feigeface, for making a movie. If you're gonna make a movie this bad, thank you for constructing a movie that is so devoid of Kirby that there's other than putting his name in the end credits. There's nothing to do with Kirby. Thank you for keeping Jack's name out of it. Other than I know he's after the end credits, it says based on Eternals by Jack Kirby.
Barely.
Look at this. This is supposed to be Ereshkigal. Look at this crap. God damn, it sucks. That's Ereshkigal right there, folks, according to these morons. Yeah. So I just think he looks. And again, what's really bad is the head. You can go, well, they're similar, but he's not really similar. But it looks kind of like you think they were trying to go for maybe a Kirby look, but then
they got the scale
from the neck down. He looks like a. I can't even decide.
Yeah, the neck down was. Yeah, I agree. 100%. The neck down is no good.
Like a globby crystal thingy. Something.
Yeah, he didn't look enough like a robot.
He's not a robot.
He looked more like a Power Ranger. No offense, Power Rangers fan.
Yeah, but yeah,
like a Power Ranger villain.
Right. Yeah, but he's not a robot anyway. But yeah, he doesn't look anything like that. Of course, he just looks like dog crap. And okay, so this movie, look, I sat through it and I'm trying to block it all out because one of its other big sins, folks, is that it's boring. None of these people have charisma. Even in some of the worst MCU movies, you get Chris Hemsworth and Robert Downey Jr. and even Chris Evans as Cap. You get people that audiences generally like in these characters, even in a subpar MCU film. Hello there, Six. You get some, usually you get a pretty. You got the Iron Man films, you got the Captain America films, you got the Thor films, you got Paul Rudd in the Ant-Man films. All of those actors have charm and they have appeal, and people, even if they don't like a movie, they go, but he's still good as Iron Man. He's still good as Thor, even though it's a movie Thor. It's not the comic Thor much. If you see what I'm saying? But these people have nothing. The biggest names are Salma Hayek. Hello there, Arlen Baker, and Angelina Jolie. They're lifeless. They're there to collect the paycheck. The CGI is as bad as you figured it would be. It's just, this movie has no charm whatsoever. It has nothing going for it. It totally screws the origin up, and
that ruins the movie. That ruins the whole movie. That ruins the third act too.
And what they do to
Icarus,
that
origin.
What they did to Icarus, dude.
That was horrendous. I was so pissed off. My daughter's like, "Why are you getting so angry, Dad?" Because she has no concept or no clue. And there's a couple,
Spoiler alert! Mark's daughter is a bona fide nerd. This is why she doesn't know anything. She's not a geek. She's not a geek. Nerd. She
kind of liked the movie, so she gave it like 7 out of 10. But that's the normie review. I'll tell you what she liked about and what she didn't like after I rant. Well, I did start off
about your initial.
Yeah, well, I thought it started off great because you had Pink Floyd "Time" and I'm in the Dolby Theater. Oh God, I love hearing "Time" by Pink Floyd.
25-yard penalty.
I'm being sarcastic.
I know. I'm messing with you.
But I mean, God, and I'm in a Dolby theater, which has like the best sound ever, basically in this theater. So the sound is glorious.
Here you go. Look at this.
And then
look at this stupid
I missed the crawl in the beginning. I guess when I opened up, they had a couple of characters on the screen on the spaceship, and of course the spaceship they made just like a flat.
Shit.
They made the spaceship like a flat slab, like a monolith from 2001. It's like,
yeah, it does look like the monolith sort of, but it's not. It's like a boomerang.
Yeah, it's like why don't you use like a Kirby design for one of the spaceships and just copy
none of it,
that?
man.
Yeah, like and the interior was very boring. The interior almost looked on the quote unquote bridge just looked like a living room. It's like
everything about this movie is visually boring.
So the design was boring. The costumes, I thought they, were, mediocre at best, but not Kirby-esque. That was the problem. They should have really amped up the Kirby factor. If you said, oh, this is, a generic superhero group, and these are the costumes, oh, well, they're all right. Angelina Jolie, I think is very pretty, obviously Selma Hayek. But as my daughter said, some of the characters were really boring. The only one I thought that had any kind of life to him was Sprite. I thought she had.
Did you?
Yeah, no, she had at least some part of an arc, and you kind of fell for her character, and they did explore, never aging physically, but being an adult mentally. That was the only really arc in the movie. And then what they did to, the main character, making it.
Ajax and what they do to Ajax and Icarus. I mean, Ajax, of course, is also the gender change, which was stupid, but also
wasn't
what they
necessary.
Did to Ajax, it was really bad. Look at this. If you can see this, look at this is supposed to be Celestials. See if it came through.
The main problem was by so altering the as we were reviewing the comic with Nick, we said, oh, we're probably not going to get much of the story, but we got zero of the story. So by changing it, so we're spoiling here, guys, but basically they made. The Eternals are there to fight the Deviants, but the Deviants are mindless, creatures.
Dinosaur creatures.
They don't have
the same too. No
yeah,
personality.
I mean, it's if you want to see them fighting kaiju, I'll go watch Godzilla versus King Kong for that. But
right, they have no villain, no good villain. Yeah.
No villain. There was no intelligence to the creature. So one of the cool things about the comic is you had the Deviants had their own race. They lived in Lemuria under the ocean. At one point, they had taken over the Earth, and the Celestials had fought, came back,
the Celestials
and
bombed them and took them out. Right.
Yeah.
Kirby had depth and so many layers of a story that they just threw it in the garbage. So they thought they were making a cutie arts film mixed with an MCU movie with dull action. And here, look at that. That's the Celestials. Look at that garbage.
Yes, they didn't do a good job with the body was really screwed up there. What they did,
and Arishem is now basically just going to destroy the planet. Why?
Yeah, so the plot line, everyone is, I was wondering what was the plot going to be. So in the comic, you have you have Icarus is actually Icarus, and he's with an archaeologist, and they discover some of the secrets of the Eternals, and it's a slow setup. But in this movie, it turns out the Eternals really are the bad guys, and they're basically seeding the Earth. Think aliens. The Celestials have impregnated the Earth with another Celestial that has to be born to seed the galaxy with life. So unless you destroy billions of people on our planet, for the Celestial to be born, that's it's almost like Galactus kind of effect. And the crazy thing is the Celestial has to feed off of human intelligence, so that you have to have more people on the planet. So they mentioned the snap actually gave the Earth more time because half the people disappeared, and they're basically saying, the engineer in the cast is saying, oh, I created all my inventions because Fastos, because war actually increases technological advancement. So I don't know how that one works in terms of increasing the population. Basically,
looked in the movie.
So the Eternals are actually really the bad guys. So they're there to seed the planet, aka aliens, so that the Earth will be destroyed and birth another celestial.
They were there to increase the population of the planet until it got to enough where the energy generated by enough beings would fuel the burning up on the inside of the planet, so that it would blow up. Because when you blow up a planet, they do this. They've done this for millions of years on planets. It births another celestial.
Yep.
That's not Kirby's.
That's and so, but that explains maybe global warming. Maybe it was global warming was the celestial. I don't know.
But doesn't that sound like the dumbest shit you've ever heard? If you've read,
it's like, why did you do
that?
Why did they do that? Because in the end, there was kind of a mystery of what would happen in the end. I mean, the one sliver they said the celestial is going to come back to judge Earth. They didn't even say 50 years like in the comic.
No,
but that was
nothing. It made no sense doing that at that point.
Yeah, but by making Icarus a bad guy, it's like you can't make Icarus
and Ajax
and Ajax too. Well, Ajax, she knew what was happening, and I think maybe she left the window open. She wasn't as bad as Icarus, but not good. Yeah, not a good portrayal. And then Cersei, the actress, is gorgeous, but none of the pep or pop from the comics. None of the personality, that fiery personality. So,
right.
It sounds to me like the people who made this film watched Who Mourns Adonis.
Maybe, yeah.
Not maybe, like really, like think about it. It's sort of ridiculous. Because it's mixing in Greek mythology, but it's doing it in such a slipshod way, in such a ridiculous way, that even as you guys are explaining it to me, it doesn't make any sense.
None.
I mean, the Olympians, the pantheon, requires worship. So they derive energy from worship, but that it's based in love. So it's supposed to be love. And although I love Who Mourns Adonis, eventually he is completely heartbroken of course, in the Star Trek version, when he realizes he messed up. So the Olympian gods are neither divine nor disgusting. They do terrible and crazy things, but you also have to look at when the socio-historical context of when the pantheon was created through orality in Greece. So much harsher life, and there were a lot more lessons to be learned there. And some people in Greece still believe in the pantheon of gods. They when you go to Delos, the first thing they say is that's the opening of heaven. So I'm not quite sure I understand why they would do this with the gods, and that they would turn it into total nonsense, because it's a wonderful idea.
So many good ideas. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's a wonderful idea, but first of all, I think it's stolen from Star Trek, and second of all, its execution shows no respect for Greek mythology, and it doesn't show any respect for this the science fiction idea of seeding. So it disrespects the two things that it's trying to use to produce the story. And then on top of that, it appears, though I'm no expert, that it also craps all over Kirby, who obviously actually understood this stuff and was using it as a device to create a superhero universe. So there are 3 devices here that are at work, and they crap on all 3 of them. Not good.
It starts pissing on Kirby from the first millisecond, with his origin and all of that stuff. Now, these characters, they're flat. Oh, and by the way, just from the MCU standard stuff, that's bad too. Not just because it's bad CGI, it's the same old action you see in all of those movies, and it's always dark, so they can cheat. And all the battles and all the fights with the silly monsters. And again, this has been a trope throughout the MCU. It's not just them in this case. Rarely do you ever see them like fighting supervillains. It's always robots, alien armies, Ultron, robots, that kind of stuff, and there's monsters. Yahtzees. They didn't even fight the Yahtzees much.
Well, remember? Other
than Captain America.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Grant Gregory, good to see you, buddy. It's just God, it's garbage. And again, even like I said, they're just the fight scenes are boring and tedious. And when they're not, you would think that would at least be fun to watch, and it's not anymore. It's all the same old crap. By the way, they also screwed Kirby over with the powers. All Eternals are supposed to be able to fly.
Yeah. What happened there?
Only Icarus can fly.
But they don't fly. I went to the Clobby'S school of Kirby.
They levitate.
So they levitate, folks. And Kirby is very consistent in avoiding using the word flying. I learned this by going to the Clobby'S school of Kirby. They levitate.
They levitate. And the thing is, by the way, no Zuros, of course. Zeus.
Yeah, no father figure.
Ajax the Prime Eternal.
Yeah.
Not Zeus. I mean Zuros. The only decent character in the thing, and then he gets killed, is Gilgamesh.
Why is Gilgamesh?
He's the only that actor, and he is the only actual interesting character in the movie. So of course he has to die.
Yeah.
Because we can't have that, can we?
Kit Harington was very boring as Black Knight.
Guys, I feel terrible to interrupt, and I beg your pardon sincerely, but you know how I feel about listening to the chat. And Captain James T. Skywalker says that we need a Zathras moment. So Zathras, if you are out there, here's my best, honey. Crap, crap, crap. And Chris Persia says this one needs a raspberry. Oh, there's the Clawbony, brought to you by Hungry Boy and Clobby. And here's your raspberry, folks. Here's to the Eternals.
It's again these characters. First of all, I actually like the guy playing Icarus, but he's just none of this is any of these people. Yes, none of their fault. It's the writing. Kumar sucks. He's over the top and annoying. I actually liked his valet better than him.
The valet was good.
Yeah, he was the only guy that at least is kind of funny. And
he always does the same character. The guy he always does the same Kumar, character. Yeah.
But see, the concept of what happens is in this case, the Eternals, of course, what have they been doing for 7,000 years on Earth? Well, just kind of wasting a little time. Oh, that's another. Cersei is nothing like the Cersei in the comic. I mean, nothing. Lovely actress. She's it's almost like she's the main character, to be honest, in this film. And Gemma Chan or something, Chan or whatever.
She's gorgeous,
She's beautiful, and she's good in the film, but she's not Cersei. And why is Athena nuts? I mean, Athena.
Yeah, and then they drop that whole plot thread. That's what I can't stand for to explain. Athena, they explain that Athena has been rebooted too many times. So basically, they've been doing this for millions and millions of years. Kind of like the Cylons, and
they wipe their minds.
They wipe their minds. So she's suffering mind fracture, I think, is how they explained it, and she's remembering past lives. If that sounds familiar,
it's so stupid
from
that
Battlestar
they're robots.
Galactica.
They're robots.
And they're robots. They're basically robots.
Sucks.
And so she's going crazy. So like for 2/3 of the movie, she's going nuts, and her eyes turn white. And she starts to fight the Eternals, starts to attack them.
Demigods if they were robots?
Because
demigods are when gods have sex with mortals, and then you wind up with like Heracles, and so then they're neither god nor man.
Exactly.
So how would the procreation happen? Are we totally ripping off of Ronald D. Moore's reimagining of Battlestar Galactica?
I guess they're shooting blanks. I guess they don't explain that.
They don't explain it. That's another thing. The bad writers, so they just do stuff and they don't explain shit at all.
They don't explain like in Highlander you could never have kids, right?
No.
So that's right. You can't.
But then they explain that in the movie, so it's that's a huge miss. And then also the actress who's playing Makari, God bless her, she's got a disability. But why would you have a disability? Why would you have a disability?
Why would a robot be deaf?
Thank you. I was yelling the same thing.
How is a robot deaf, folks? Why would you make him that way? She's created by a space god, a perfect being, an omnipotent being, basically. And she has a handicap just because they wanted to make a statement in the action.
She was running Windows 98.
Unbelievable.
It's like because the writers don't think things through. So in the real
Greek mythology, when something like that happens, it's a punishment. Either the gods are fighting amongst themselves, and we see this with Hephaestus, which is why he has the clubbed foot.
Yeah.
And so that it's usually a punishment or the gods fighting amongst themselves. So that doesn't make sense either.
Right, because this is Makari, basically Mercury Hermes. They of course they they did a gender swap on that character from the comic, Makari, and again a super speedster who is created by celestials, space gods. Why would they give the handicap? There's no reason other than Marvel thought they were being cute and being their virtue signaling. To show, wow, we have a handicapped character, the first, and they've been bragging about it, the world's first deaf superhero. Like, but there's but that's different. Like with Matt
Isn't
Murdock,
Daredevil blind?
He's blind, but here's the thing: we have a reason for. They give you a reason, and that he's a human, and and that's one of the great characters. I love Daredevil. Well, they don't give you a reason for Makari being deaf because Makari never was deaf. So much less was also not a woman.
And Makari is
guys.
nonsense. That should actually be Hermes. And my Greek family, basically, I was adopted and assimilated into a family of Greek nationals, so people who don't speak English. And when my family pronounced Hermes, basically you could almost not hear the H at all. So it was like Hermes.
Hermes.
Hermes is is very far away from Makari.
Well, yeah, but it's based kind of on Mercury, though, because that's where
I get that, but
that's where Jack is taking it from.
Yeah, I get that. But do you see how if you play with Jack Kirby's version, it's quite nice because he has attention to detail and he's taking you to these new places. But that's centrifugal. Right. The further you get away from Jack Kirby and you start messing with it yourself, the more it becomes nonsense because now it's not a cute twist or a cool twist. Now it's nonsense.
Total nonsense. And again, here's another thing. Even though two heroes turn out to be villains in it, still, which is really disgusting what they did to Icarus, this movie, again, has a problem of it. There's no good villain in it. See, that this character that you see right here that I'm showing, and the purple guy, that's Crow. I mean, he is... he's basically throughout, just as, Athena is Zeus's daughter, Zeus. He's basically the devil in the sense that in myth, he's a deviant that he went down through the centuries. He's not really the devil, of course, but, primitive people, he was able to fool them into thinking he was the devil. Well, okay, pretty interesting character. But no, in the deviants now, instead of looking like this, intelligent beings that have, and there's all kind of substance and depth to these characters. Now they're just monsters. They're just like, they look like silly,
brainless monsters.
That's some pretty nice artwork there that you're showing, Clobby. Chris Persia, you're saying exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, Chris Persia agrees with me. Yeah, it's like, okay, so we've got Mercury, we've got Hermes, and now we have this other name. So now if you're going to start switching the character out and all that, I don't know. I just think I think they're messing with it too much and turning it into like just a poop soup.
Oh yeah, it's garbage. Everything about this movie is just absolute filthy garbage. It's insult.
Yeah,
an absolute insult to Jack Kirby. Again, the only saving grace being that they didn't get anything on him because there's not even a tribute. Not even the colors are washed out. There's nothing colorful like this comic book. There's nothing grandiose like the big gigantic scenes or the there's nothing gigantic like what you call it, the machines, the Kirby, no Kirby crackle, not even a bit.
Nothing.
Mark, can you go close again? Just because like this art is so beautiful,
this is Clobberin time's doing it. Yep. Yeah. Zoom in.
This is beautiful.
Think of the movie you could have made trying to make. I mean, you didn't have to do everything exactly, I guess. And here's another thing about adaptations, and I've always said this. People always get on me and say, "Well, you just want everything to be just like in the comic or just like the book." Whether I want's irrelevant. There have been a few occasions, a few, where something has been an adaptation of something, and it didn't necessarily follow the source material that well. But if you do that, if you deviate, you got to be good.
Yeah,
I'll
you
even
do.
go, all right, that is not the same thing, but it was pretty good. And
Yeah,
this
but
is
and
terrible.
it's also like I take I take issue with people who say that to you about the comic books, because as a nerd, I feel that way about books. I feel
Yeah.
like if you're going to try and turn a book into a film, a book is meant for the mind's eye. You read it and you process language, written language, and it goes into your brain, and that's how the story is created. It's written on the mind's eye. And a script is written with an entirely different method altogether. And so it's not quite as easy to turn a book into a film. And so when somebody loves comics, and comics are rendered in a specific way, where they're written with a story and the visuals, and these two things come together to create that magic. Of course, somebody's going to be disappointed if you change the visuals or you change the story, because those two things work together to create that fantastic fictional universe. So no one should be saying to you, "Oh, you just want everything to be like the comics." Because what they're saying to you is basically like that they want to take the story, but they don't want to do a good job of it. Because when you're transferring one form of writing into another form of writing and you're using it as source material, you should respect it.
I'll give you 2 book examples of adaptations that I thought were the movies were better. Peter Benchley's Jaws book came out only a very short time before the actual film came out. His book's terrible. I've read it because I love Jaws. Jaws is one of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion. It's in my top 5. I think it's a masterpiece, and I think that Benchley's book's got a lot of really bad shit in it. It was technically written first, and he's not a bad writer. There's some really stupid crap in there that they changed for the script. And I'll give you an even more crazy example. It's a movie I love from 1998 called L.A. Confidential. And what was that guy's name? Larry Elmore, or maybe they wrote it, if I remember the name right. Okay, the writer was this real hard, grinder of a writer, real hard-nosed and stuff. And Curtis Hanson and I forget the name of the other guy who wrote the screenplay. They had a meeting with him, and then the guy was like a real grinder, real, tough dude and stuff like that. And the book was pretty successful. Well, they changed a lot of stuff from the book. And I remember reading this interview with these guys. They said, so we went to a meeting for him. We're like, oh, he's going to chew our asses off and down. Oh, he's going to be pissed when he sees the screenplay, because he's had a reputation for it. Yeah. Well, he gets the screenplay, looks at him, and they were waiting for it. They went out to dinner, and whatever it was, right? And he says, "You sons of bitches." And they go, "Here we go. I like this better than my book, you bastards. Let's make this." Yeah. And he's the writer, his book. And I've read his book. There's no way they could have filmed it.
Yeah.
That it's a great movie, in spite of this, some actors in it that are so terrible that I almost don't want to watch, but I love L.A. Confidential. Don't know if you've ever seen it. I think it's one of my favorite movies.
That's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, but you're getting to the very heart of it. That writing is a discipline, and there are distinct, discrete forms of writing, and these discrete forms of writing require their own types of discipline, their own type of rendering. So it's not so easy to just say, "Oh, we're going to turn this book into a film," and it's not so easy to say we're going to turn this comic into a film. And there should be respect for both, because each and every discipline in writing deserves its due. Because of the medium and because of the creator. So I love your comments, Clobby. Well, and Chris is saying, serious question. In the comics, Thanos is an eternal deviant hybrid, yet in MCU, deviants are mindless animals, monsters. So what exactly are they trying to imply? Well, I can tell you this, Chris. Thanos is not like it's a made up thing. Thanos is like life. So if you see like Athanasios, that's like forever life. But there is no God, Thanos. And I'll throw it over to Clobby to clear up the rest of it.
The Mad Titan. By the way, first I'll say hello to Jeffrey Wilkinson. Says, you guys give the 3 greatest breakdowns, your 3 you're the Marvel Mythbusters of knowledge. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Monkey Jeebus, yes. they did Snyder. It is very Snydery. This movie looks very Snydery. Rollo Tomasi, I love that bit. And LA Confidential, that scene killed me, man. And Dad Man Walking's here. Hey, buddy. Monkey Jeebus, thank you for being here. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
So, where was I? Oh,
Chris
no,
Persia. Chris Persia.
Yes.
Let's get him answered.
Him being a deviant hybrid was retconned in later. I mean, Starlin, because when Starlin and when he was created originally, he was just a mad Titan, god from Titan, because Eternals was created a good bit later after Thanos had appeared. Now, but nevertheless, yes, that is true. So when you say what you say here, Thanos is an eternal deviant human. Yet the MCU deviants are mindless animals and monsters. So what is that? What are exactly? They're not trying to imply anything. They're morons that don't know this and they don't care. They just say that there are two after credit scenes.
Did you say? I was gonna say, Clobberin times. Did you stay for the after credits?
Yes. There's a mid.
Yeah, my daughter said there's a guy from a band Wrong Direction is in it.
Yeah, that's right. That's that stupid kid, Harry.
She was all excited.
One Direction. Well, she was a kid when they were popular, I guess.
Harry. Yeah, well, she got all excited. Harry Styles.
Okay, yeah, he's Star Fox. Let me tell you something. Star Fox is Eros, and he of course is a half brother or whatever of. Oh, Pip the Troll was there too. Was that Patton Oswalt doing the voice?
I was waiting. Shit. I'm like Clobby's throwing his popcorn at the screen or something else right now.
I'm keeping my popcorn was gone by then.
Yeah.
My popcorn was gone by then.
I know you don't like Patton Oswalt.
Oh, I hate him. So yeah, you had Star Fox who sucks, and he's Eros. He's people always. It's funny how people complain that he tricks people into having sex. So he's basically like a rapist.
He's problematic, yeah.
So how they put him? Well, they're not going to have that any of that element. People don't understand. They'll put a character in, they'll just change him. And then the end credit sequence is, of course, Black Knight. That guy's playing Black Knight. Jeez. As soon as he popped up at the beginning, I go, oh God, he's Black Knight. But they didn't use him in the movie. They just show him. He see the sword.
Yeah, it was like at least grab the ebony blade and turn it into Black Knight at the end.
Yeah, we don't see Black Knight. We just see the guy who's going to play him at some point.
Yeah, come on, give us the costume at least. Give me something for my $20.
They're going to ruin that costume.
Probably.
Someone in the chat at the very beginning of the show said that it was something to the effect of the person who designed the costumes for this movie should be dragged out in the street and kicked. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing because you guys know how I like to give someone a good kick. But
kicking the shins, nothing too violent.
Nothing too violent, just a kick in the shins. But they said something to that effect. So whomever you are, would you please repost that comment about the costumes? I forget who it was.
Yeah, the costumes are again very bleak and uninspiring. And I have this. I think. I don't know if this. Obviously, I haven't talked to Chloe Zhao or any of this kind of stuff, but it almost seems to me that some of the squiggly like all those circles and all those little
that was the crackle.
No, I think that's her trying to attempt to be Kirby-ish because she was probably told to. She makes art films, which is perfectly fine.
The film looked gorgeous. I have to say that the landscapes, if you turn the sound off,
I guess
the shots were gorgeous. Looking at the old Babylonia or ancient cities looked great. I mean, I thought that was cool. Just if you're talking about a few things were good. I'm joking, but Pink Floyd I thought was a good choice. I did like Sprite. I thought Sprite had the only character arc that really grew other than Gilgamesh.
That's probably true. And Gilgamesh was at least that actor was pretty good.
Yeah, but the guy that played the engineer was just the dialogue was too modern too. I'm like, why are they trying to make them so hip? And of course,
he's not a Kirby character either.
It all sounds crazy to me. We've got Mesopotamia, we've got a Greek mythology, we've got Pink Floyd, we've got Roman names as well as Greek names, and then Kirby names. This film sounds like soup.
It is.
And of course, they had to add a kiss between the two guys, which was fine. I didn't, my daughter's like, "Did that bother you, Dad?" I'm like, "No, I don't care." But I'm like, they're going to cut it out when they show it in broad.
They're going to cut it out when they show it in other countries.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just been banned in some countries.
Yeah, because of that. So
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
been banned
and the
in
one thing,
Kuwait, Qatar. The list is growing, but yeah, it's banned
and the
in
one thing
a
that
few
got me
countries.
furious about the movie, got so angry, was when they have a scene where you know, Fastos, so they're debating, the Eternals are debating how much technology to give humans and how much to advance them. So Fastos has a steam engine. He's like showing them a steam engine. Well, first of all, I didn't understand, if these beings are so advanced, they would know what a steam engine is, right? I mean, it didn't make sense, but that's neither here nor there.
Made no
So they
sense
said,
at
well,
all.
so they said, oh, we'll give them a plow. We'll give them a plow. They've had the wheel for 1,000 years. Of course, not all civilizations have the wheel either. So he's like, I'm going to give him a plow. And then, you know, fast forward to the movie, they I guess
He
it was
blames
it was a flashback.
yeah, he blames
Hiroshima,
himself for Hiroshima.
Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So they show Hiroshima, and I'm like,
I knew
why
that was
didn't they
coming.
go to a concentration camp, or why didn't they show
No.
the Japanese operating on the Chinese live without anesthesia to do, you know, to do horrible medical experiments? You know, you don't want to talk about the stuff that was done in World War II, or the horror, you know, other horrors that
That was the
happened.
low hanging fruit, easy thing to show.
Yeah, so you pick on, and I was debating with, you know, I don't bring my daughter, but I was debating with her. She said, well, I just felt that it was you know, showing how, you know,
70s.
how it can be destructive. But it's like, why do they always have to show that about the US? You know, that was you know, we don't get a debate about World
We
War
know
II or the
why.
atomic, but we know why. And of course, when you look at history, you know, the firebombing of cities in Tokyo and Germany, they killed just as many people. Not to say that the atomic bomb wasn't horrible, or war is not as horrible, but I mean, the net effect was it ended the war early. I mean, the Purple Hearts that were made for the invasion of Japan, we just stopped using a few years ago, to give you an idea of how many Purple Hearts were made in preparation for the invasion of Japan. So, you know, historians always debate it, but it's I don't
Yeah.
think it's, and just to throw that in there, if you want to show the horrors of what technology has done, the true horrors of man, some of the most terrible things that have been done, you've got to go to that because it's so easy. Why don't you go
That
to
was easy to
in my
do.
mind, you know, you go to you know, they were showing the conquistadors, and you know, you know, in the Mayans, and you know, they're talking about a genocide there. So why don't you show what happened, you know, in World War II? And of course, they, you know,
Right.
I was just so, I was really, really, that kind of stuff gets me so
Hey,
so
70s.
teed off.
Eric K, I thought, yeah, I just yelled that out. Yeah, Gilgamesh is Mesopotamia.
Not in this.
I
No.
know, it's just crazy. So it's like, are we in Mesopotamia? Are we in the second millennium BC in Mesopotamia? Are we talking about, you know, this Sumerian king? Or you know, or are we talking about Greek mythology, or are we talking about the Roman adaptation of Greek mythology? It's quite a soup, isn't it, Eric? It's very soupy. It's like
Yeah.
it's the weekend soup with all the leftovers in it.
I mean, that wouldn't have been half as bad if the movie was decent. If they messed up some of the mythology and the characters, and you know, but the whole storyline was nonsensical with what they did to the origin of the Eternals, and how the characters were there just to birth a Celestial. They were there to protect the Earth originally. The Eternals were superheroes, quote unquote, that were helping us. And the other part that was crazy too, they're showing them in the ancient past, you know, walking among regular people, wearing their costumes, helping them, doing all these magical things. It's like people then would be worshiping them as gods. They wouldn't be, you know, just you know, making, you know, bread with them, and you know, laughing and saying, "Oh yeah, it's a great day to hang out with these gods here." You know, in the ancient past, you would, if you had Zeus, or you know, walking among you, I think it a little bit different scene. So it's just a crazy way to botch the characters. A
Druid was
real
a shit
missed
character.
opportunity.
Druid
So
was
why
a
would
crappy character too.
yeah.
Hmm?
Anyways, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it's just that even with the Epic of Gilgamesh, there's something very dynamic happening there, and so where would Enkidu be? So I just don't understand. It just doesn't make sense to me.
None of it makes sense, and none of it is supposed to. Just this was all about diversity, and they don't care if they cast anything. And again, there's Makari right there playing. What? I can't hear you all of a sudden. And I don't. Again, look at the mentality you're dealing with when they say they make a character. In other words, does this woman Zoe and whoever makes this decision, and Kevin Feige? I mean, look, just in the context of this particular fiction, understand that this is a perfect. This is a robot made by a perfect godlike celestial being. Mm-hmm. Why would they make a being, even if it wasn't a robot, even if it was like the real Kirby origin, same deal, super beings genetically engineered. But this is even worse because it's a freaking robot, not even like a. Yeah, so it's not even it's an organic robot, but it's a robot basically.
And it wouldn't be natural if the gods did it, because the gods would do that out of punishment. And another thing that I would like to say is if they wanted to add a very progressive idea, several PhDs, several doctors and PhDs. So a doctorate is different than a PhD, have forwarded the idea that the Epic of Gilgamesh, of course, that Gilgamesh was in love with Enkidu, and that this is why they had their moment together. So if they wanted to do it organically, and you wanted to take us to Mesopotamia, then take us all the way to Mesopotamia, and then we wouldn't have something contrived, and we could have done something that was actually historical. But even Kal-El is saying, Hercules, the legendary journeys, had more accurate references to mythology than this movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, it shows that they don't know what they're talking about, because if they would have done their homework, they wouldn't mix the Roman mythology with the Greek mythology and the Mesopotamian mythology. And if they were going to go to Gilgamesh, it would have been great if they wanted to have that progressive moment between two males. Why not introducing Enkidu? I don't understand it. It's very ham-fisted. It's ridiculous. Ugh.
Just that scene was just.
Sean, I feel you, dude. That was rough, man. This was what a piece of garbage this movie is. But go ahead.
Well, and that scene was just tacked on. You could tell, just to create some virtual signal in there, which just, and it wasn't, if it had been a much bigger part of the story or explained it more. And then of course, and they never explain why the Eternals can't have kids. I mean,
they never explained any damn thing.
Yes, yeah, so like at least give us some kind of reasoning behind why they, you'd wonder after 7,000 years, how come none of us can have kids? You think one of them might have noticed something,
At least they didn't have to ruin poor old Carcass and Reject. I mean, at least we didn't have to see them get ruined. Mm-hmm. And another thing about Makari, by the way, again, not only the gender swap and the dumb handicap, none of which was necessary, is the only thing to this. Like most of the characters in this, they're not characters; they're ciphers. She was there for an agenda, and she's written absolutely with nothing. She's got a few super speed sequences, and there's nothing to her character. I mean, zero. They give her no. They're all so enlightened. They are. Well, why don't you give that character more time? Some of the other characters, they give you a little bit. I mean, it's still not very good, but they give you, some moments. They're trying to flesh them out. They're not doing a very good job, but they try it. With Makari, you get nothing. Nothing about what Makari did the whole 7,000 years. And Druid sucks. Not just because there's a line in there where what's up says Druid sucks. It's just he's been in this little village, controlling the minds of these people for 7,000 years, and
that was crazy.
And Kumar, he was garbage too. It was kind of funny at first. I'm like, okay, he's this guy who is an actor and he's making action movies, and he's been pretending to be his own grandfather, because as time goes on. And
that was one funny line. Yeah,
it was kind of funny, and his little little valet guy. But it was also typical unfunny MCU crap. It's like it's almost like they made sure that they have the special department in the script department that says, well, they walk up to the director. Okay, here are your standard Marvel MCU pat can stupid jokes that the audience expects. Your stupid wisecracks. Here are your 23 stupid wisecracks you're going to need in the film. And here next to this, in this line here, you'll see the stupid sight gags you're going to need in there, and the ill-fitting cracks about. In other words, they have to be in every MCU universe movie, no matter how quote unquote serious the film is, because they're not like the Russo brothers who could just write characters organically, who were pretty good until they were forced into making everything corporate with starting with Infinity War, even though I love that one, and how bad Endgame was probably wasn't entirely their fault because they were forced to do certain things. Chloe Zhao makes art films, fine. She can't make an action blockbuster. And the action alone is so boring. The theater I was in, and it wasn't even close to half full. They were pretty quiet. And nobody was cheering. Nobody was making a lot of noise or anything. They were just sitting there. You could get a slight feeling of people was like, oh, this is going to be over eventually, I guess. Yeah. No laughing that much or anything. Some line here and there.
Well, it doesn't make sense. I didn't see the film, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like here you've got Ajax and he is the star of the show instead of Achilles. And then of course you introduce Gilgamesh and you introduce a gay character, but you don't bring in Enkidu, and you make all of the gods robots. And why not have them fight the bull of heaven? Why not introduce the idea that people in comparative literature and people in theology, people who study ancient texts, they believe that the Epic of Gilgamesh is the first time, it's our first work of literature, number one. So it's the first time we ever wrote down a story, but it's based in orality. And so the oral myths that we told before we even had writing. And so why not tell the flood myth? Because they believe that this is the origin of the flood myth. And Clobby's saying there were no villains. Well, there are plenty of villains in Greek mythology. There are plenty of villains in Roman mythology, and there are plenty of villains in Mesopotamian mythology. And there is an organic homosexual moment. Like Enkidu and Gilgamesh love one another, and he is desperate after the gods strike him down with disease. So we had all of the raw material to make something magical and beautiful here, and instead it just sort of sounds like the end of the week soup at the restaurant, where you throw in all this stuff that didn't sell all week and hope that it will sell over the weekend. It sounds very sad.
Very the thing you always talk about with the corporate produced crap. And Decepticon, yes, I agree. He said, was it me or was the valet the best character? He was the best character. I thought he was a human. What a character that wasn't afraid to show a range of emotions in the sea of cold, emotionless avatars. That is absolutely on point. He was. And again, to my point about that, the purple guy right there, and Thena, villain, sort of a villain, a rogue, and Thena, who was terrible in the movie, their relationship is very interesting in the Kirby series.
Yeah.
You get none of that because Crow's not there. Again, all deviants. See all these deviants?
Well, he becomes Crow at the very last millisecond. At the very last end.
Sat Shri Akal, and happy Diwali. I love you, love you, love you. Please tell your mommy and daddy that, and your whole family that I said happy Diwali. And yes, I just wish you so much love and light over this next year.
Hey, Ash, good to see you, buddy. And here's what I'm talking about. These are deviants in the real deal, the Kirby comic. As you can see, they're almost like they're, just in Star Trek, there are many alien species that are sentient beings that look very different. That's what big deviants are, of the three disparate beings that inherit the Earth. Again, the Eternals, the deviants, and the humans. So, but no, we have to turn them into just kaiju. Or little,
boring
silly,
kaiju. Yeah, boring kaiju.
Animals and monsters.
I mean, 20 years ago, if you show me those special effects, and oh my God, those monsters are incredible. But it's easy to do monsters now. That's not going to get people into the theater. It's it's mindless stuff, and you kind of get bored by those fights because you're not invested in the characters. In my theater, there were a smattering of applause, and some people really liked it, and especially when Icarus gets it in the end. Something happens in the end and he gets, but then you're like, I'm so pissed because obviously these people haven't read the, read the comic or know the characters. So it was actually worse to have read it. So it's just a travesty.
Right.
And there are a couple of moments where people clap, but they when I saw Shang-Chi, people really loved Shang-Chi in the theater I was in, and I liked it. And God, I would watch Shang-Chi 100 times over this anytime.
Monkey Jeebus. I'm just going to cut in here really quickly before we move on. Monkey Jeebus, if you look, you can actually see that several scholars have written papers entertaining this idea, this implication within the culture, within the oral stories, and then, of course, with the written story. So this isn't something that I just made up off the top of my head. As I broached it, of course, I did say that there were several scholarly works that explored this idea, this thought within the Epic of Gilgamesh. But thank you for your comment.
Absolutely. And again, Decepticon says, deviants are vastly interesting and complex in the comics, complete opposite in the movie, and makes them film bland as a result. Yes, look, these are deviants.
Yeah.
Wow. Like aliens, but no, they have to be just silly animal monster type things. And Crow, by the way, we see nothing of Crow till later when he all of a sudden fights Cena. And that's supposed to be Crow. They never say his name.
Yeah, he's Crow for 2 seconds.
An absolutely useless villain.
Yeah, it's Crow for 2 seconds. I mean, and it may be you're made to sympathize with the deviants, in the end, because then you realize they're just pawns. And the crazy thing is the Celestials are so powerful. They said they put the deviants there to destroy all the the apex predators on Earth. And of course, there's a classroom scene where they're talking about apex predators, and they said, well, the problem was the deviants were allowed to evolve. I made a mistake. I let them evolve, but the Eternals can't evolve. I fixed you, so you can't evolve. Of course, what happens in the movie? The Eternals evolve and rebel against their masters. I'm like,
good night, Sherry.
How many times has this happened before?
Good
Take
night,
care, Sherry. Thanks for being here.
Ash is leaving as well. Don't forget to say good night, Ash.
Ash. Thank you. But yeah, exactly. And Arishem, he shouldn't even talk. I mean, it just, you know what I mean?
At least he wasn't a cloud.
He almost would have looked better as a cloud the way they made him look. Yeah, it's just wow. Just anyway,
disappointing all the way around. I'm so happy that I won't be seeing it. I only see the very best of these films. Pardon?
You have to suffer like us.
No, I don't like to give these people a single cent of my money. I hate all of this corporate story writing. I prefer being connected with an author and connected with that author's work, and to have that private dialogue with that author. And whether it's in film or whether it's on the radio listening to an old time radio show, or whether it's a book or even a comic book. I like to have that relationship with the author. I don't have any relationship with a corporate team trying to turn a story into a franchise IP for the corporation. This whole idea of teams of psychologists and screenwriters and writers getting together to create the ultimate psychographic and demographic, to have billions of people watch it. If you make a film for everyone, you make a film for no one. And I don't appreciate the corporate writing. They could take it and stuff it somewhere really dark and tight.
I concur, but we'll get on the happier things in a minute.
Yeah. And I just sent you a graphic I did.
I'm gonna try to see if this will load.
See if it will let you load. Yeah. But there was a lot of missed opportunities. I mean, with the money and budget, you could have done a lot. And as I said earlier, I would have just loved to have seen showing Kirby's art, showing some of those splash pages or 2-page panels. And then fade into the real movie. Like the Celestial actually head in Guardians of the Galaxy actually looked kind of cool. When you go.
Yeah, it did. And the Celestial itself looked good, and even the Nowhere, which was the head of a dead space god, Celestial.
Yeah.
Please
pretty Kirby-ish.
Gentlemen, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry for interrupting, but please teach me what Hungry Boy is trying to teach me. This is something I don't know about. What is this? That what they used to call 4 quad movies, Raquel. Would you please explain this to me, everyone? Hungry Boy, Clobby, Mark. I'm a book nerd. I'm an academic. I don't know anything. I don't know all this stuff about films. So if you could please explain to me what a 4 quad movie is, I would be thrilled. And thank you for introducing these more cerebral topics, Hungry Boy. I love it.
Okay,
I'm not sure what that means, actually.
First up, before you do that, there you go. I survived viewing, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt. Thank you, Mark. I'll be using that later. Oh, now what? Now what? I didn't see it. I was loading this thing. So what did he put here?
He put what they used to call 4 quad movies, Raquel. What is 4 quadrant? A term coined by idiot execs and lower flunkies in Hollywood around 1997. Well, isn't that lovely? I will look that up when we're finished the show. Just love that you're adding that academic element. Love it, Hungry Boy.
I'm guessing something to do with popularity or how to sell a movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, demographic. So male, female, under. There we go.
Oh, Eric's got it up. Can we please show Eric?
Okay. First, I'll tell Sean
demos. Yeah.
Yes. And what puzzles me is it's got all the boxes ticked. So I'm surprised even Shittix don't like when you cater to the Shittix with all their box ticking and all that crap, and they still don't like your movie. That's bad because it was made for those idiots.
Mm-hmm.
In Hollywood.
Here's my Eric. I love my Eric. Movie. And he says, in the Hollywood movie industry, a 4 quadrant movie is one which appeals to all 4 major demographic quadrants of the movie going audience. Male, female, and over and under 25. Okay, so those would be the 4 elements. Lovely. Thank you so much, Eric. Mwah. I love you.
Well, we're going to get on to happier things, folks. Well, because we're going to be doing this again. Look, we're going to be doing this again tomorrow.
You guys,
we don't want to get burned out. Yeah,
I have to tell you, I love you guys, but I have to interrupt again because look at what Kamloops just put in the chat at 24 minutes past the hour. Can we put that up? Oh, Kamloops, it's so good to see you.
All 4 demographics: lunatics, whiners, dummies, and the deranged. That's about right, brother. I missed this Cersei, by the way.
She's gorgeous.
She was quite a character,
and the lady's beautiful in the movie. The lady playing her, but it's like she's just humorless. She's lifeless. She's a whiner, and she's.
Well, they tried to make her too much of a thinker and
she's so opposite of Cersei.
Yeah.
Not that Cersei wasn't smart. All Cersei wants to do is party, and she didn't really she wasn't even interested in Icarus.
No,
that's a bunch of horse hockey too. That love relationship between them.
She wanted the boring professor guy.
What they did to Icarus was disgusting, and then him flying.
She wanted the nerd.
Yeah, she wanted the nerd.
I guess she thought she was being clever by him flying into the sun.
Yeah,
stupid.
Well, yeah, that's and Sprite made that story up.
Yep, Sprite made that story up.
Yep, that's what Sprite's doing. So.
And Sprite was Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Monkey Jeebus says, The Eternals is Marvel's answer to Space Jam.
Well, and we all know how that second movie turned out, right?
Yeah.
How about we because we bothered Raquel enough with this talk. We have something that last week we talked about, and we're going to, by the way, tomorrow, folks, we're going to get back into this 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tomorrow night, Friday night, the great Mark D here and J-Man and Sean. I believe Sean will be joining us. You're, of course, welcome to Sean if you're joining us. Nick Weiser, maybe, and who knows? Loki might even pop in. A big gang. We're going to go more into this thing because Mark and I now, and since there's so many of them, Mark, you and I won't have to take it. We can just kind of sit back and go.
Yeah.
But we will all. Pay this.
I'll be interested to see what people think. I got to check R&B's review to see what he liked about it, but
It always
Terrified
freaks
to
me out
find
when you
out.
guys call him RMB because those are my initials. So every time I see
Sorry.
RMB, it's like, what?
That's right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And then
Yep.
Saturday night, folks, please join us for 4 more episodes of Saturday Night Star Trek reviewing. And
Yeah.
that, don't forget, that's the most important part right there. The we.
The we.
And
Yep.
join us. We have 4 more. We're getting close to the end, by the way, of season 3. We'll have to figure out how we're going to do that. I mean, should we like?
Well,
do
you gotta
both
wait 3 months. We'll drag it out in
No.
between.
That was my point. Shouldn't we just do parts 1 and 2 of Best of Both Worlds in that last 2? So we'll have like 3, and then just I don't know. Maybe we should do that. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that when we get to that. Everyone is excited about my comics, and Hungry
All
Boy
right.
says, "Can we please talk about Raquel's comics now, please,
Sure.
God?"
Yes. For those who do not know, last week, if you weren't here last week, we talked. Raquel has been, of course, we all know what a huge Star Trek fan she is. Well, about a year ago, I did a show about the history of Star Trek comics. It was a stream, and she had not previously had any, and her wonderful daughter, I believe it was,
Yes.
purchased a big stack of Star Trek comics, and I went through the whole history, not deep dive because it would have taken like 20 hours, but just in sort of in a linear fashion, just basically talked about the different companies that have done Star Trek comics over the 50 years. And she was given, I believe, some Gold Key issues, which we talked about last week, some DCs, some Marvels, whatever. So this week, what are we going to talk about? The Marvels, the DCs, what are we doing?
Yes, we're going to talk about some DCs, and I have some, sorry, that was my dog.
Oh, doggy.
Yeah, little tiny doggy. She's only 2 pounds. So I have some TOS, and I would like to learn about them. And because we have so many geeks here and so many comic experts, I thought it would be fun for you all to teach me. So I have the TOS ones. I have a couple from TNG. I have one from the movies, and then I have some that have some very special certificates of authenticity and some special numbers on them. They're from Deep Space Nine, and just some odds and ends. And I was kind of hoping that you could teach me about those as well.
Got it.
Let's start with the TOS.
Okay, dope. Go for it. Tell us what you got.
Okay, so my first one, Mark D with the C. Are you ready with your catalog, sir? And Clobby, are you ready with your brain?
Yep. Clobby's brain is going to be, his genius brain is going to be better than my computer.
Yeah,
I doubt that.
This is why I call him a comic genius. He'll fire faster than the internet. Are you ready, everyone? Okay, so my first one is a DC movie special, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
Yeah.
DC. It is marked as $1.50. It is marked $1.75 in Canada, and it is marked 60p in the UK.
I see the cover in my head. I remember that one very well. And that was, that was when
Let's bring that up for everyone at home.
Doing them as one shots and stuff.
Tell me about this, Club.
I'm trying to find out what number it is.
It was a one shot. It wasn't in the regular numbering of the comic.
Let's see.
Just those DC Comics,
Star Trek
special. 3, The Search for Spock, and you don't have to. If you just do DC Comics, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock adaptation or something like that, it'll be in. I mean,
let's see, Star Trek. There we go.
Jeffrey, I'm so glad
Thank you,
you're
Jeffrey.
having a good time. And Hungry Boy, I'm glad you're feeling better. And Eric K, I love you. And your beautiful little fuzz paw is probably wonderful, although not so little, 23 pounds.
Wow, it's a big kitty cat, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can find a picture of it if you just want me to get the picture.
I'm getting there. Search. You'll get it before me. I'm in my
if you're
program,
just tuning in and you're wondering what this show is all about, let me explain. So the three of us are friends in real life. And Clobby says, I was thinking we should probably do a show basically covering all the stuff we talk about off air. So we decided that we were going to do Clobby's Clubhouse. And so tonight, I am asking the boys, because I am a nerd, a card-carrying nerd, I'm asking these wonderful geeks, these brainiac geeks, about my DC Star Trek collection. So if you're just joining us, that's what we're doing.
So I found a Star Trek 3 by Federal, but that's not the same
Now,
one.
here it is right here. Like that was like a
Bob. There it is. It's beautiful.
I think it looks almost like a Bob Peak cover or something. I don't know, it was Sienkiewicz or something like that, but it looks like very Bob Peak, the cover, but it could be Sienkiewicz. But yes, I remember buying this. Of course, as you all know, they adapted the motion picture. Then they didn't adapt Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Then they did. Star Trek II didn't get a comic adaptation until 2003. I mean, 10 or something. Sorry, but this was out when the movie came out.
Okay, so then there is a comic made by DC for every movie, and they are the movie special?
No, Marvel did the motion picture. Then the rights kind of floated out there for a while after the Wrath of Khan, and went back to DC. They didn't adapt the Wrath of Khan. They just started their first movie they adapted was Trek 3. IDW did it, the Wrath of Khan, in around 2010 or 11, something like that. It went forever without one. That was the only movie not adapted. So this came out, and at this time, the comic book, when DC got the rights after Marvel had it for a while, came out after Wrath of Khan. So for a while there, you had the Enterprise, and you didn't have Spock. It was on Enterprise. Savick was on the Enterprise. And then, of course, they did this comic, and the Enterprise blows up, as you know. And so after this, the DC regular Trek comic had Spock back, but they were on an Excelsior class starship for a while, for years, until, of course, when Trek 4 came out a few years later, as you know. So yeah, for a couple of years there, the crew was on an Excelsior class ship called the Enterprise.
Wow. Okay, so Mark, what is this one worth for the folks at home?
Well,
I don't care how much they're worth.
See, I found it under a federal reprint, but I'm not finding it under, DC was the third series, like Clobberin Time said. But
yes,
then
it was third. But this wasn't in the regular numbering.
This wasn't in the regular numbering, and it's not showing up in my program, which is I'm seeing all the pictures of the Excelsior class Enterprise in the DC one, but I've seen and that's very strange that my program is actually, comic bases missing something, but that's
Thanks,
weird.
Sean. I appreciate that, Sean. Like I said, a year ago, I did a show about the history of Trek comics, and it's always fun talking about Trek comics. They don't get enough love. I think I'm gonna do another one soon, where not only talk about, again, go back a little bit to it, but if you ever read the Star Trek comic strips, those are I talked about those, but I might do more on those soon.
Jeffrey, that is incredibly kind of you to say. And I look forward to getting to know you better. I enjoy the company of so many wonderful people in this community, and I am learning so much from all of you. And I'm developing an affinity for comics and comic book art, artistry, and storytelling through the minds of my wonderful geeky friends. And Hungry Boy, I'm sending you a kick in the shin. Because of course,
what do you do now?
Oh, well, look at what he put at 34 minutes past the hour.
I'll have my eyes off the screen. Are you being bad?
He's being very bad. Look at this. Yummy Kirsty Savick Alley. Shame on
she
you.
was yummy. You didn't. I know this is Robin,
but she said cute. She was a huge Star Trek fan, in the magazine I read.
She cried.
And did you notice?
I can't.
Didn't you notice
her? Thought she was cute.
Did you notice her hairstyle changed?
But we're good. I didn't notice. But we are guys. We
computer bridge, please.
She changed her hair. No, I hadn't noticed.
So Gene Roddenberry had a bone to pick with her because, of course, she cried. She should not have cried. And that started some BS about how she was actually Romulan and all this other crap. Look, Kirstie Alley has been on record saying that she developed Savick. You know who developed
she
Savick?
She didn't know anything about
Robin.
She didn't know anything about Star Trek when she got that movie.
That's right.
And you could tell because whenever she was in contemporary interviews, it was embarrassing. It was, it was just trying to do fan service, but it's okay to try to fudge it, but it was obvious she didn't.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Just admit, I haven't really had a chance to watch that many, but now, now I like it, or now I've been, watching it.
So I have nothing against her personally, except for the fact that Mayor and Allie claimed that she developed the Savick character. I don't really like the fact that she cried. That was inappropriate. I don't like this BS that she's Romulan on the side. And Hungry Boy, I absolutely love you. So I'm sending a kiss for the boo-boo on your shins. I do apologize for that kick in the shins. You are one of my favorite artists on the internet. You are prodigiously talented, preternaturally talented. I just absolutely love you. But Kirstie Alley.
Here you go. So this book really, it's worth just basic, not much more than cover price. I didn't go to any of the standard pricers, but I like My Comic Shop.
Lovely.
It's a Star Trek movie special. DC got it.
Right.
It's not showing up.
DC movie special, Star Trek 3. It's a Howard
Unless
Chaykin
it's under
cover.
DC movie special, maybe.
Oh, that's just beautiful.
Weird. I hate when I can't find something.
I'm never selling these anyways.
$260.
So because they're gorgeous. So, but I did notice that everyone was quite thrilled when they found out that I had some gooders last week. They were like, "Woo!"
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to make sure there weren't any "woo" moments.
Well, those were some pretty. Yeah, those gold keys.
They were fun.
Were pretty. Some of those. Were definitely worth a little bit. So
I had fun doing the Marvels as well. You guys are brainiacs. I just love you. Okay, so let's get into the DC's TOS proper. Let's open up a can of whoop ASS. Let's do it.
A can of tribbles.
Let's open up a can of tribbles. All right. My first DC is trapped aboard a Klingon ship. Kirk fights for his life. Star Trek, March 84, number 2, 95 cents. So it's number 2.
That's a Marvel or DC?
It's DC.
That's DC in 94,
yeah. No, 84.
84, yep.
I remember that one.
Yep, I'll pull that one up. Yep. So
that
was those series were really great. Those DC
I was
Star
actually
Trek
pretty
series.
critical of them when they came out because they had some. I really like the. Oh, that's a great Perez cover though. He did great covers. Trapped aboard a Klingon warship. Yeah, there you go. Now, some of the writing, but still, you look back on them now with just fondness. They're so much fun. Here you go. That's the cover right there. Oh, I didn't share it, did I?
It's gorgeous. Hey, John, good night. We had a gentleman named John P. in here this evening. And,
hey, John.
And he's leaving. I would like to bid you a wonderful evening, sir.
Yes, thank you for popping in, John. It is great to see you, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's see here.
Oh, how come mine doesn't say that I have a Titans poster by George Perez? WTF? What a ripoff.
Does it have a barcode?
No. Yes, it has a barcode.
All right. There were two. When you see the Titans poster thing, that was Comic Slop. That was direct sales, comic shops only.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a barcode, it was sold in stores like convenience stores, drugstores. Yeah. So comics of the 80s, starting around 80, 81, 82 or whatever, you'll always see, even if the cover's identical, in that little box there, you're going to if you see a barcode, 7-Eleven, drugstores, newsstands. If you don't, that's a direct sales. And the reason why they did that is because when we would order these at our comic shop, go after me, Eric. They were unlike the store comics, they were not returnable. Okay. So if you ordered it, didn't sell it, you got to eat it for dinner.
Okay. Clobby, how much does the number 1 in this series cost, and what does it look like?
I have it if you want to. I have the whole series if you want to share my screen.
Well, on Comic Shop, is $4. But of course, depends upon the grading.
Okay.
But your basic highest price on it is $4 and very fine.
Oh, beautiful. So unlike my gold keys and unlike my Marvels, this will be a much cheaper collection to complete that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would say pretty much on balance, these comics will be definitely less. Okay.
That's $9 for this comic. That's a cool cover.
The first issue right there.
I want that. That's beautiful. Look at it.
That's a great.
Right, Jeffrey? Jeffrey, this is These guys are my buddies, and wasn't it a great idea that all this stuff that the guys and I talk about for 2, 3, 4 hours on just any random night, that we're doing it on air. Jeffrey, I'm having the time of my life. I just absolutely love Clobby and Mark. They're my friends in real life, and they're just wonderful, brilliant people. Mark, I want this one.
You notice this Perez cover, Raquel, that's Savick. And yes, based on Corsiali, because it was way before.
Yeah, right there.
Trek 3. And so for a few years, these Trek comics, they had to write, the crew without Spock.
Okay.
There's no Spock,
Was it Marv Wolfman writing it at that point, or was it Mike Barr?
Well, here, let's see.
Mike Barr, probably.
One of the two. So we can.
Our resident
Mike Barr, that's Barr,
artist is saying that the coloring was so much better then. And obviously, Hungry Boy being an expert, that means a lot to me that he's saying that the coloring was so much better then. I agree, Hungry Boy. I'm very drawn to these old school comics. I think
love
that
the coloring.
I consider them artwork. Like, I don't look at new comics and think they're art, but this stuff is definitely art, Hungry Boy. I love it.
And the thing is about this, this was before that crappy flexi graphic paper for a while there in the 80s. Hungry Boy, this was still done on closer to a little bit upgrade of newsprint, but not that really nutty, really weirdly
glossy.
Colored. Yeah, Baxter paper was fine, but the flexi
go back,
graphic
Mark.
stuff.
Sure.
All right, what issues this? 3? There
okay,
you go.
Honey. Okay, guys, I have this one.
But
cool. Clobby, this one, once again, this is a barcode.
Matthew.
Hey, Matthew Pounder. Alaric Harrison.
Hey, there you go. So you got another barcode one. Okay. Again, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does not affect pricing or grading at all.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Just means that one was sold to comic shops.
So
Direct
is
sales.
that one worth a wow, or is it just normal?
No, $3.50.
So these are significantly cheaper than those glorious gold keys and those marvelous marvels. Okay, let's go to number 4.
Well, let me just share. Well, for fun, if you just want to sort by price, the most expensive one is 6-2, $23. So even that one's not going to.
Well, we'll see.
And you see
number 1.
This is weird because I don't see a spot for the barcode. That comic.
On this one, on this one, right? Yeah, that's weird. It might be
that's because somebody took it off.
So, it's an alternative edition or something. It's because
that's strange.
Maybe
it's
so 6-2. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know when I get to mine. Okay, so I have number 4.
Okay, you got 4. Yep, there we go.
I have 4.
There you go. See, there's a barcode.
So who's the artist? Let's discuss the artist. Oh, hi, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
First of all,
what now?
Phantom Outsider's not here. Hungry Boy. Please tell me about Sutton.
This was Tom Sutton. I never liked Sutton. Milgram was an okay inker. I never was a big Sutton guy, to be honest with you. That's what he made Kirk look like Ralph Malph for some reason. Okay. I think this is the one where the ex-Calbians were fighting the Organians.
Okay.
I read him. I was buying him at the time, and I was very critical of the dialogue by Mike Barr. Mike Barr, to me, has never been a very good writer, folks. Now I would go back and probably read them and just enjoy the hell out of them. But at the time, I was an ultra critic. I know I am now, but you know what I mean. I would enjoy it more. But Tom Sutton was never my favorite artist. Now, Hungry Boy might disagree. Might like Sutton.
Okay, so before we
and these are the creatures, and these are the creatures from that episode.
I'm going to be the interpreter for these mega geeks this evening, the genius geek that Clobby is. So he said something really special here, and Hungry Boy is probably going to chime in on it. So Sutton would be the artist, and Villigren would be the inker.
Right.
And so this is very important, I learned, because when I've been going to Clobby's comics symposiums or his seminars, I learned that there were actually people, inkers, who would erase some of the drawings, erase aspects of the comics and take it upon themselves to do this. And of course, this really upsets Clobby, especially when it's involved with Kirby. You don't do that sort of thing. So if you're new to comics like I am acting as your translator tonight. Sutton is the artist. Villigren
Penciler,
is the inker, and and stuff can get erased. Can you believe that, you
Well,
guys?
it did used to happen. So it just depends. Like Vince Coletta used to do it, the worst inker who ever lived. But sometimes they enhance what you see. So not everyone was as fast as Jack Kirby, so they invented it early on in the where they would have pencilers pencil the comic and do as much of the backgrounds as they can, then they would send it on to an inker. So some inkers barely affect everything, and some inkers overpower pencilers who go, wow. And so that Hungry Boy or I myself can look at it and go, wow, that looks like fill in the blank penciler inked by so-and-so, because it's really, you can see that really strong inking style in some of them. And Villigran was just kind of hacky. Look, Sutton was kind of hacky too, as Hungry Boy says. I mean, he was with a bad inker. I don't know.
And Mark, you seem to have varied tastes where this is concerned. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I love the Perez art. George Perez is a genius. This really, these aren't great covers. They're kind of muddled. And then, Kirk, it's always tough to draw a likeness of a character. So, this is a little bit better. But yeah, I like this one. I like that layer. And of course,
this one
Perez.
this one's beautiful.
Perez was fantastic.
So these are Perez, George Perez.
Okay,
if he'd only done the interior.
I've heard Hungry Boy talking fondly of Perez before, or if not fondly, with respect. So I think it's cool that I actually know about Perez.
He's a genius, yeah. George Perez.
He is one
genius,
of the greats. He's in my top maybe 10 or 15 all-time favorite comics artists.
Jeffrey's saying, Clobby, Mark, Raquel, my favorite artist is Alex Rossi. I would love to see him do a personalized version Marvel versus DC crossover classics, being that he did work for both respective companies. Yeah.
Perspective, yep.
Yes, well, he's done a lot of art, not like an interior, because he does no interior stuff anymore, almost ever. But Alex Ross is a painter. He doesn't really pencil much ever. Almost, he gets models and dresses them up and paints them. But he's done some great stuff. Jeffrey, I love a lot of his work. I love his covers. I love Marvels and Kingdom Come, and I think the underrated thing he did that I love, one of the best, was Justice. So yeah.
Okay, Mark, next one. Go to number 5. I have number 5.
You got everything here, Raquel.
Guess what, guys? I have the new DC. There's no stopping us now. No barcode. It's not a drugstore one.
I remember that slogan. Yep. The new DC. There's no reading us now.
Okay. This is a cool one. I love it. What are your thoughts, chat? Oh, I have that one too, Mark.
Okay, so let's go back to number 5. Yep. I was just pulling this up so you could see the difference. Yep.
The crew encounters a former student of Kirk's, someone revered by the natives and mortal gods.
Yeah, so 6, what's interesting here, you could see this one is worth $23.
Okay.
It's a Star Trek Classic Edition distributed by So Much Fun. So see, this is a So Much Fun. There's no barcode. So they reprinted it and sold it separately. Part of a promo or something. Okay, and then this is the actual original comic.
That phaser looks backwards.
Yeah, it does look backwards, doesn't it?
I have both.
Let me grab mine and check.
Oh, you have both?
Yeah.
Really?
I have both.
Wow.
Actually, it is pointed. It's pointed.
Is it pointing in the right direction?
Well, here,
weird. Okay.
Yep.
It is a motion picture phaser, right?
Yep. Let me grab.
Or is it a Rathacon phaser?
It's a Rathacon phaser. Well, they're both basically the same, right? Yeah.
They're pretty similar, were they not?
Yeah, here's the...
Hey there. Hey, Sir John.
Well, you can't see me on the screen now, but
good to see you, Matthew Pounder.
Here, let's check the artist for accuracy.
Those are some long-ass fingers on number 5.
Well, here, if you want to show me on the screen for 1 second, Mike. Here, let's compare what the artist did.
Hang on.
He does have the angles wrong, I think. But here's the phaser for pointed. If you're pointed away at yourself,
and that's the front.
I got you.
That's the front. Yep.
Wait a minute.
So if we flip it,
no, somebody's pointing at him though.
Yeah, but see the buttons here.
Yeah. See where the button is? The button's in the back.
It's actually like this because it's facing this way.
Yeah.
Right?
Weird.
Oh wait.
It doesn't have the same top though. Look at that.
Oh, wait, so if the buttons are.
Yeah, I
maybe he
think
does have it
he
backwards.
does have it backwards. The guy
You
pointing,
got it backwards.
whoever's
Yep.
pointing at him has it backwards.
Right? Yeah.
That's
Well,
like
that's
Mikey
not good.
Spock.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
Mikey Spock
pulled
did that,
a
yeah.
filthy Spock.
Hey.
Okay, so what's really
Oh my
cool
God.
is that the one that is the original DC one, the one that says the new DC, there's no stopping us now. That one's 75 cents, but the other one's 95 cents.
Because that was the special thingy with the. I guess
I got it actually $1.25 on my scan here.
Which the regular one?
Number 6, or one is 75 and one it says $1.25.
Okay, mine doesn't say So Much Fun Incorporated on it. It's a barcode.
So that's just another copy of the bar. Yeah, the collection doesn't show the barcode. I guess sometimes they'll that would be like 6-3 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So that wouldn't be worth as much. I guess this one with the So Much Fun would be worth the $23.
And
this is cool. You have both versions.
I don't. Oh, do I have number? Yes, I have number 7. Star Trek: The Origin of Savick.
There you go.
Dun dun dun. But guess what?
It's
a drugstore one.
So it doesn't have the DC there. Yep.
No, it's got a barcode.
That's like the first of 2 or 3 comics that did her origin.
And it says Dan Day and Dick.
Say again.
It says
Giordano.
Dan Day and
Giordano.
Dick. Yeah.
Giordano.
Yep.
Dan Day was the brother of the great and the sad story of Gene Day. Dan Day was a pretty good artist. He drew similar to his brother. Dan Day tragically passed away right around that time this came out. He was a great artist, mostly known for his work on Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, and he was about to start drawing Batman when he passed at a very young age. But Dan was a pretty good artist. Didn't seem to be much.
And what about this inker, Dick? Did he live up to his name?
Dick Giordano was one of the most wonderful names in comics. I'm a big fan of his. He was one of the great editors. He worked at Charlton Comics before he went to DC. He was one of the legendary artists and one of the legendary editors, artists, and inkers of comics. And so I was always sad that I never got to meet him.
Oh,
Wonderful. Big fan of Dick Giordano.
Okay, and Hungry Boy, if you have any comments, please make sure that you are heard because you're our other expert here. And Mark, you're also an expert here. What do you think of Dan Day?
I'm trying to remember these issues. Have been so long since I read them, but I'm trying to pick up what I think I read a few of these later issues, but. So it's foggy when you go back into the memory banks to try to remember. So I can't give a real opinion on that right now.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not sure if I'm too fancy on Dan Day. I'm not sure if I like him or not. I'm so far I'm liking the Perez fellow. I think the Perez fellow.
Perez is fantastic.
It can't be
okay.
George Perez.
Sweetheart, would you please tell me how much number 8 is because I don't have it.
8 would only set you back $2.50. So none of these are going to be going forward. These are all going to be like $2 to $5 wherever you find
because them. DC isn't anywhere near the value of my Marvels or my Gold Key.
Well, this was a short series, and it was
David Barker was in that one.
Yeah, there's how many issues? It only went for about 56 issues. So, I mean, there's some good comics in here, but. They're really not sought after.
They're not.
There's a ton of these printed. It was the Gold Keys, are much older, much rarer, tougher to find, and that's the first is always considered the one that's sought after by collectors. So there's a lot of nostalgia about those Gold Keys and with those covers, and they've really gone up in value in recent years. But this series hasn't. Let's check real quick. Let's check the second series. Just scan the prices too. That they're not really that valuable either. So let's see the sort by price.
Hungry Boy. $22,
$15.
Go ahead. So, keep going, Mark.
Yeah, no, but none of these are really like this. Second series. The Marvel series. I love some of these comics in here, but they're not super valuable either. So it's
No.
if you want to collect back issues or complete a series,
It should be
that's
my
a
gold key.
great way to go. But I mean, this is a way you could do it too without breaking the bank. It's fun to have. So this is a good this DC series. This was
that's very true, Hungry Boy.
The Weinstein
pioneered some inking techniques. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, but this is Weinstein writing this. This was probably one of my favorite. There's some great comics in this run too. Some of my favorite Star Trek issues in this run. And I got to meet Howard Weinstein too at college. He did a writing seminar, so I got to talk to him.
He wrote an episode of the animated series.
Yeah. So
Pirates of Orion.
Sir John, if you would like to do a She-Hulk show, it would be my pleasure to bring that to my captain's attention. We have several shows that we can cover that on. We can cover that here on Clobby'S Clubhouse. The conversation will be very elementary, though, given the fact that I'm a nerd, not a geek. So these guys sort of have to treat me as though I'm a child. I'm a complete noob. I'm at this sort of thing. But we also have the Global Geek Gang and several other shows. So I hope that you sub this channel, and certainly I will pass your comments along to the captain, and we'll discuss it off air. We did a Green Lantern special. And I've been wanting to learn a little bit more about She-Hulk, the original She-Hulk, who still looks like still looks good. So without getting too political,
they went back to that. They went back to that look now. Actually, they figured out that wasn't going to sell. Yep.
Yeah. So, Sir John, I'll pass that along to the captain, and we'll get something organized for you, and then we'll definitely get back to you. But She-Hulk is very interesting, and it's something I also want to learn about. So we'll discuss that off air. I promise, and I promise we'll put something together for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. John Burton loved that She-Hulk. That's for sure.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
Next one I have is number 9.
Number 9. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yep. You know what's interesting about this one?
What?
This is where they took a little bit of a break, and this one takes place after Star Trek 3. And it's the first part of that Mirror Universe saga they did, which, again, as a Mirror fanatic, I didn't like the story.
Mm-hmm.
They end up on the Excelsior. And remember, they didn't know what was going to happen in Star Trek 4.
Mm-hmm.
But they had they just did stories that obviously, which is why they had to almost do something of a reboot. They did stories for a couple of years on the Excelsior with Spock.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Star Trek 4 came out, they had to just ignore all these comics, and later, after they adapted Star Trek 4, they started all over again with a new series, and just ignored this timeline, I guess. If I remember right,
because they thought they were going to get an Excelsior class ship too, right? He's like, I don't want that bucket.
Well, they didn't know
junk, yeah,
because they were making. I remember. Look, none of us knew, back then that it was going to be Enterprise A.
Yeah, so they were waiting. That's that scene in the end that's so beautiful. But
I think Villagrán, I think Villagrán really made that art.
Stuart Mitchell, I just want to thank you for your wonderful comment. Your comment made me feel like this is a worthwhile endeavor, even though it's such a basic thing and you guys are all experts. To know that someone who is also another expert in comics is actually taking away value from this show and learning about the database that Mark is using, it makes me feel so much better, because I ask these incredibly basic questions, and so I'm just so happy it's of use and people are enjoying it.
Monkey Jesus, Jeebus, sorry, that's actually true. What he says about what he said about Perez.
Oh, really? Where's that? Can we have that back?
Perez does fetish comics.
Does he really?
He does.
Okay. Well, can I just say right now?
I've never seen any of them, but no.
And he does them probably really well, although I haven't seen him, I'm sure.
Okay, well, let's just put it this way. I would like all of the villagers to put down their torches and all of their fruit. I will not be pilloried. You will not put me in chains over this. But I'm looking on the left-hand side of this comic, and I realize it's the Sutton fellow and that Villagrán fellow or Villagrán fellow. It's right on the spine because I have the drugstore version, not the comic book store version. So I would just like to say that I don't like this art.
I agree. Yeah, it's not great art. I would go with that. Yep. I'd agree with that.
I just don't like, from the stuff that Clobby shows me. Like, I just finished watching a Kirby special on Clobberin times. Like, you watch a Kirby special, then you see this, and you're kind of like, ooh. Kirby was an incredible artist. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this Sutton fellow, but it doesn't feel good to me. Scotty looks beautiful. Ahura looks terrible. McCoy does not look good at all. Yeah, no, I'm
That's
gonna
supposed to be
pass
Carol
on.
Marcus, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that does not look like Carol Marcus, and that doesn't look like Kirk. He looks like who does he look like? I think he might look like the fella from Starsky and Hutch.
It's not great. It's not great art too. So sometimes you wonder if they didn't care who was drawing this because it's Star Trek and they're going to sell anyway. But
Mark, did you just see that? Hungry Boy said that you guys are cultivating my taste. I'm learning from you. Hungry Boy says this is a C- cover. You're right, Raquel. See, I'm learning. You guys are teaching me. This is great. Yeah. So
I guess Mike is rebooting his computer. The chief engineer is working on it. We'll cover for you, Mike.
Oh no, we lost Mike.
Yeah.
Clobby! Yeah.
He's rebooting.
Okay.
The bridge is smashed. The computer is damaged. Just give me a few seconds. We'll be sending it right over.
Okay, no problem. We'll wait for you. Yeah. So I was wondering why he didn't chime in, because he's always teaching me things and he always has such great things to say. But Mark, I'm going to throw it over to you because Hungry Boy has given his review of this cover. What are you thinking about Star Trek New Frontiers with this Sutton and Villagrán fellow? Ooh.
Well, I think I like the perspective and the layout. I like the idea, but not the execution, if that makes sense. I like the space station in the background. You've got the new crew, and it kind of reminiscent of the scene at the end of Star Trek 2 when they're kind of looking out the window and seeing what might happen. So I just, he's right. It's kind of lumpy, not realistic, and it is very tough to, exactly copy a person. But I this I'd buy it because it was Star Trek, but it wouldn't make me want to buy this cover.
Who is this supposed to be beside McCoy? Because she looks headless, like
it can't be Savick,
or bodiless.
Right?
I mean,
could that be?
Who's that supposed to be? Marlena?
Could that be? Nurse Chapel. Could that be Chapel?
Oh my God, that does not look like Nurse Chapel.
I think that's Chapel.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I think it's Chapel. Let us know in the chat what you think. Yeah. Well, she's a floating head, I guess. Yeah.
She has no body. Hungry Boy. She has no body.
It was a transporter accident.
Monkey Jeebus. It's a drawing of a photo collage.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
And then 10. I don't know if you have 10, but 10.
Just wait.
Mirror.
No, that's not what my 10 looks like. Oh, no, I don't have 10. I have
10.
I don't have 10.
Yeah, so this is not a great cover either. It's all over the place. The color's not. Of course,
who is this?
This is a
this
scan.
Sutton and Villagrán
This
again?
is still Sutton. Yep, still Sutton. Okay. Yep. So let's go to. Might as well go in order. Let's go 11.
I have this
Sutton,
one.
Villagrán. Yep.
And
so
you know
what?
The
mirror universe story. Yep.
Yeah, so it doesn't entirely suck. Like when we're talking about Sutton and Villagrán, this is much better. This is a much better offering where those two are concerned. But their previous artwork, I'm not fond of it at all. And probably Hungry Boy is not going to like the hands because the hands are quite effeminate.
Yeah, it's too skinny. And Spock's got nice nails too.
He does, and and Leonard Nimoy had beautiful hands. So just chime in.
And Eric
just
K
fun-
thought it was Nurse Chapel too.
Oh, okay, all right. That does not look like Nurse Chapel.
Yeah, but that's
But it's a good guess, you
vague.
guys.
Yeah. Yep. And I guess this is supposed to be the Excelsior and the 1701. I guess
I
this is
have this one.
So this I wonder, is this the refit or the? I wonder what timeline this what time this hit. This was 85.
Well, let me see.
Yeah, 85.
Yeah, it's 1985.
Yeah, so that would be the A then. I'm assuming that's the A. Yep.
Yeah, that has to be the A. Look at the nacelles or the nacelles.
Nacelles.
Yeah, that's got to be the A. And Mark, I don't have the comic book store version of that one. I have the drugstore version.
Okay.
And Mark, I have 2 of them.
Nice. You got a lot of these issues covered. Yep. Have you read them all yet, or not yet?
No, they're what do you guys call that again? Hungry Boy, what's it called again? When you put them on a
bagged
board?
and boarded.
Bagged and boarded. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're bagged and boarded. Like when you're going on vacation, they're ready for vacation. Okay, so I have number 13.
Another not good cover.
No, look at Kirk's face.
Yeah, just not good. Yep.
Is that consternation or constipation? And what's going on with David? Is that supposed to be David?
Yeah, he's pretty buff there though. For a scientist,
what's happened
looking
to
good.
David?
He's been working out.
Terrible. And once again, like the leg cut off. Like this is what Hungry Boy was talking about. It's sloppy. Yeah. Look at the leg cut off. Like you can't see it very well on the computer, but in real life, his leg, it literally looks like it just got chopped off all square.
Yeah. Oh, Punk Waddle just stopped by to leave a like and to say hi. It's past his
hey, Punk Waddle. Nice to see you.
Thank you for stopping by, Punk Waddle.
I can't believe that that's supposed to be David. And then, of course, there's a caption above that with him saying, David?
Well, it's really not you. Yeah. And then let's say this is still Sutton on the cover art.
Okay, yeah, I don't have 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 19. I'm missing 6 here.
Now, this is a better layout, but I just don't like the art. Let's just go through those quickly then. Yep. So there's 14.
I don't like the art. And look at what a Hungry Boy was talking about. Like the reason why I like Perez, Hungry Boy is teaching me, is because I like detail. And if you go back to that last Sutton Villigren cover, look at Spock's boots.
Muddled.
Yeah. They look terrible.
Yep. Not good. Not good. Mike is back.
Look, a Hungry Boy just yelled bad feet.
Damn it.
Welcome back, Captain.
Murder.
Did the deviants get your computer?
It just crushed on me. It just crushed on me. Crushed on me. It's horrible. That was Carol Marcus, probably you were talking about earlier.
That does not look like Carol Marcus at all, and that also did not look like David.
Well, David right there is from the Mirror Universe, though.
I know, but still, that doesn't look like David. His hair is terrible.
Well, the art never makes anyone look exactly like the actor. In fact, there's some cases they're not allowed to do it.
Oh, see, this would have been key to hear when I first decided that I didn't like Sutton.
I never liked Sutton. Yeah. I never get Villigran. Yeah. Like their Villigran is responsible for that looking interesting. Now, I think that's Carol Marcus. Look, she's wearing.
That's
Kirk's
Marcus
coat.
here. Yeah, this is Marcus, and this is Chapel. The floating head is Chapel, we think.
Chapel doesn't even have a body.
What floating head?
Next to McCoy.
Well, she wasn't in Rathacon, was she? This
is New Frontiers, right?
This is
but that's Savick, though.
That's Savick, you think?
Yeah.
Jesus, this is terrible. The only one who looks even halfway decent is Scotty. Like, I don't even want, like, it's so politically incorrect what I want to say about McCoy that I'm just not going to say it.
Yeah. So that's number 9. Well, here, actually, I'm going to open the.
What the hell?
I'm going to open.
I love you, Clobby.
No, David didn't die in the Mirror Universe there, Matthew. I didn't like this Mirror story. I don't like people. I don't like when they touch the damn Mirror Universe.
Yeah, just leave it alone, right? So we were at 14, not good. 15, not good. Let's see.
Yeah, some of these art on
16.
some of these.
That's
Oh,
really
that's
not
very
good.
nice of you to say, Sir John. Thank you so much.
They had at some point, and I think it may have been right before this, or maybe a little after it. They had a Klingon crew member. It was a little bit before this thing. No, it's a little bit after it. I'm trying to remember. Maybe after it. They had a Klingon crew member. They had a character called Bear Claw, Indian. You know, he was Indian, obviously. Two regulars on the ship. Who became pretty, regular character. This Klingon was weird. He looked more like a motion picture Klingon, and he was kind of a pacifist Klingon. It was a weird character, but he became so big in the crew. He ended up marrying a human. I mean, he became really part of the crew for a long time.
Oh, so kind of like a Kalar type deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was. It was pretty. He was an interesting character. You'll see him on some of these covers.
So
look, there's Bear Claw. Look, Sulu, her, and Bear Claw on there.
Yeah.
Bear Claw was a jerk off, by the way.
Yeah. Seriously, not enough detail for me. Like I'm with Hungry Boy. I need more detail. And I like the Perez art, and because the Perez art is, I think, the closest art that I've seen to being as good as Kirby. Kirby is Perez. Like going to another place. Kirby is like, it's like walking into the museum in Montreal and looking at art on the wall. It's very striking.
See, yeah, and at that time, Perez was doing New Teen Titans. He was pretty immersed in that. He was doing a couple of other comics, and he was just too busy. He wouldn't do he just does covers. He did covers a lot as well. I mean, he wasn't going to work on a book like that. He was on the big stuff for DC.
Mm-hmm.
This was the 50th anniversary of DC, by the way. This is 1985.
That does not look like Chekhov. But now that I understand that he might not be allowed to look like Chekhov, now I don't know what to say.
Sometimes it's the artist. Sometimes I have to see it.
Dan Spiegel, was that?
Dan Spiegel was.
He's the anchor on that.
Was that?
It says, well, of course, it could be wrong on here, but illustrated by Dan. Let's see.
What issue is that?
Cover artist. Yeah, artist Dan Spiegel. Cover artist Tom Sutton.
Maybe 19. Not Punk Waddle, Matthew Pounder. Maybe that's why these never caught on.
Yes. Spiegel did the interior.
Yep.
The cover's by Sutton and Villagran.
Punk Waddle, Bear Claw. I'd rather have a Danish.
Now,
yeah, the layout is kind of cool.
There's some adaptations of, some of these media adaptations where they weren't really allowed. They didn't pay the actor to draw exactly like them.
Yeah.
And so they just didn't draw. I mean, also the artist can't really do it either sometimes. So it's not going to look exactly like the actor a lot of the times back then. Hello there, Courtney.
You can definitely see where a lot of these actors who were on the periphery developed their egos, though, because they were immortalized in these DC comics, in these Marvel comics, in these Gold Key comics. So they lived on. If you go back, Mark, I have number 20.
Well, that issue you just put up there?
I have that one.
Number 21? Oh, 20. Okay.
20, yep.
Yeah,
Sulu,
that's 20. Yep. Sulu goes home. How about that? 21.
I don't have 21.
It was by my boy Bob Rozakis, the Answer Man. I've had him on my show a long time ago.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have nothing all the way up to issue 41.
Oh, come on, Raquel. You got to get with it.
I know.
Just kidding. Jack the Ripper's back.
Learning.
Look how bad this cover is. I mean,
it's terrible.
I mean, not that I can draw, but
who is this?
That's not a. Is that
cover artist? This says Sutton.
Says more Sutton stuff.
That Sutton guy's awful.
I couldn't stand his Ghost Rider either. So, well, they did the book for a long time.
What happened to that? Red Jack is back. Wolf at the door. But God, is that supposed to be the Excelsior?
Yeah, but Hungry Boy, look at the visage on your ever-loving blue-eyed thing. Like you just create a spirit in the character when you put in those details. But yes, of course, I respect exactly what you're saying. Hungry Boy says to me, we comic artists were paid to create faces and redraw created faces, but not really portraits. So they're not really portrait artists, he says to me. But I would say that you are a Hungry Boy. When I look at your art, I think it's quite beautiful, and the faces are amazing. Like they feel real to me. But it seems as though this is going to be very naive when I say this, so I hope you will forgive me, Hungry Boy. But this Sutton guy, he sort of feels like a rough sketcher. Does that make sense?
He was a hack. That's what he was. I'll just
Yeah,
be honest.
I just don't enjoy that type of art, because so far in my journey of being friends with Clobby, and certainly obviously it's made worse by also being friends with Mark, because Mark needs his own museum. I'm getting exposed to the best stuff. And so when you go back and you look at stuff that's not quite as developed, like these guys planted this seed in my mind. Okay, well, Raquel, you're a nerd. You love fine arts. You love novels. You love academia. Well, you know what? Comics deserve respect too. And let us tell you why. So my very first lesson with Clobby was learning about gold keys and the fact that they were oil paintings. And then when I received some and I saw them up close, I was blown away. I was like, oh my goodness, all of this makes sense. People really should respect comics. This is beautiful. This is an art form. So, and now that I'm seeing the lesser people, I now understand the snobbery in the comic book community. You guys have great taste, and you know your stuff. You know your stuff.
Why did they screw up the Excel?
What the hell is
there?
that?
It's funny. You were on 24 for a minute. Yeah, that looks terrible.
They messed up the end. Of course, it's Diane Duane.
That's what Diane Duane was doing.
Author.
See, now,
a great author.
I love the cover because it's by Gray Morrow. I have a soft spot for me to do this cover, I don't think, but the interior. This is when Gray Morrow, started doing the comic, and it was really good. I mean, this was a Sutton cover.
Speaking of toasters, Monkey Jeebus, that's what it looks like they put on the back of that ship. Look, you just pop your toast into that area that no one's ever seen before, and 2 seconds later, bing!
How was the Dark Knight end?
Yeah. You notice Diane Duane did a couple of those. Those issues.
I'm seeing this.
Jim Starlin covers.
Starlin's a little bit better there. Not great Starlin art there, but slight improvement.
That looks like a Marcos cover. But...
Oh, Matthew Pounder. That makes sense. Sutton was more of a horror artist. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, because that his style would lend to that sort of shocking unfinishedness. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I agree that his style would be more appreciated in the horror realm. Yeah.
I knew that was a 31 looked familiar, and Pablo Marcus did the inks on that one. Let's see.
Look at my beautiful Kirk. They're making him look like he's pooping. I don't want to see Metamucil Kirk. He looks terrible.
I like Jerry Bingham, but this cover's not good. And the Enterprise.
I like the layout, but it's
I like him okay, but no, that's not good cover.
No, Spock's face is okay, but everyone else looks like crap. Yeah. Like the one picture.
Here.
Well, the one picture of Spock standing, his face is good. But look over in the corner. He looks like a chimpanzee.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't look.
This was the 20th anniversary of Star Trek.
Yep.
Look at how thick his neck is. Leonard Nimoy's neck was never that thick. What's going on there? Is he good? Will we like him if he's angry?
I don't know.
That's a hokey neck, guys.
Well, now you see why I stopped buying the comics. I just because at the time I didn't buy this Trek comic. I love Trek. I just never liked Sutton's art. I've never liked him, and he did this comic forever.
Yeah.
And I just, God, I have friends that bought it no matter what. Now, see, this one I bought because Gray Morrow did it. I don't know. This was issue. I don't know who did the cover. I can't. The cover. I don't think it's by him, but
Joe Borowski.
Significantly better.
But the interior by
better.
Gray Morrow. You know, one of my favorite artists. Lynn Wein drew it.
Oh, Punk Waddle's leaving. Good night, Punk Waddle.
Take care, Punk Waddle. Thanks for being here. Yep. Go read the Real Eternals. If you want to fall asleep, put the movie on.
Who drew this?
This is Borowski.
It's that Borowski guy with Pablo Marcos inking it, which at least saves it a little. But yeah, it's
absolutely this person. I wouldn't just kick them in one shin. I would kick them in both shins.
Double shin.
A double shin kick.
Ouch.
In my winter boots.
They even got the delta wrong here.
That's not a delta?
Right? That's screwed
not
up.
A delta. That's a fishing lure. You go hunting.
75% correct.
You go and get bass with that. You tie that to the end of your rod and you go fishing with that.
Yeah. It's a...
Oh, Monkey Jeepus, I'm so sorry that you have this issue.
Well, I have it too because Kurt Swan did.
Oh my God.
Matthew Pounder. I like Sutton myself. Ducks for cover.
That's okay. A lot of people like Sutton. I mean, I guess you probably liked his Ghost Rider or something, Matthew. I don't know. That's fine. He did that many years earlier. I just couldn't stand Sutton. Never liked Sutton. He made Kirk look like Ralph Mouth.
What's happening here?
I said. Yeah, he looked terrible. I thought he looked like the guy from Starsky and Hutch.
But I have this issue. Well, no, not this. I'm sorry. I was looking. That last one with the Delta on it looks weird just because Kurt Swan did the interior or some of it.
Yeah.
Kirk's shirt is a little bit long here.
That's a fishing line or fishing lure. You put that at the end of your rod.
Michael Fleischer wrote this one, and Adam Kubert did art. This is when they finally got rid of Sutton for a couple issues, and then went right back to Sutton after that. Look at Harry Mudd.
Terrible. And look at her tatas. They're totally round. Her tatas should have shape. Tatas should be beautiful. Those look like a couple of coconuts that were just stuck to her there.
Hey, Matthew,
we'll leave that part of the review to Raquel.
Yeah.
Matthew, what Sutton stuff did you like? Did you like his? Did he do Grimjack at some point? I know that's a really accurate.
Yeah, have your say, Matthew Pounder. We care about what you think.
Ghost Rider.
You're already hearing to us.
But it's true. He did a lot of hard. I mean, here's the thing. He was really getting pretty old when he did this. You know, a lot of these artists. I used to bitch and moan about some of these artists back then. When I was a kid, like in the 70s and 80s. And then when I started reading a lot about comics history, I started realizing some of these guys were very old and couldn't get a gig and had no income. And I would go, wow, he sucks. And then later, wow, that dude was. So, yeah. But yeah, they weren't great, though.
You know so much. I just absolutely love you.
They can't all be Kirby or Perez or Adams. Yeah, he did that.
That's why it's so great.
That's why he did a lot of Warren and Erie creepy mags. Black and white.
Charlton, Matthew Pounder? What's Charlton?
That's a company from 60s and 70s, and even into the 80s a little bit. And that's true. Sutton did a lot of stuff for them. You know, Charlton, as I do with my Spinner Rack Time Machine, they were putting out a lot of comics, and he did a lot. I mean, he was pretty prolific too. This is a pretty good cover.
Was that supposed to be Carol again?
It's Carol. This one's not bad, and this one's not bad. Yeah, it's acceptable. Not great, but.
The Harry Mudd cover is pretty stupid.
The Harry Mudd cover. Oh, look at how terrible this. So bad with the necks. Just everything has a very thick neck.
Dinosaur. My problem was the stories because this was when everything was everything was a rehash. That is. Well, they did a rehash. They kept doing sequels to old episodes and retreading stuff and retreading lines. Mike Barr was this hack who and you'd read a comic. And they would have retread different lines from the series. Like, we quote this as geeks, but they wouldn't talk this way on the show or the stories.
Is that the people from the Apple? Or no?
I wouldn't be surprised. The Feeders of Spock. Looks like a ripoff of the Apple, if nothing else.
Maybe. Shore leave. Oh, God. What happened to McCoy there? Is that McCoy?
Yeah.
Somebody punched him in the face. He's going skiing and he got punched in the face. So no more mint julep and lovely women scantily clad in fuzzy bikinis. No, he got punched in the face and he's going skiing.
Oh, God.
Oh shit.
Spaceships are okay. Not great, but
yeah,
it's all right.
I had a buddy of
There's
mine.
no fire in space because there's no oxygen in space.
Well, that's
Ace-
the oxygen escaping from the ship exploding. We'll
Yeah,
give him
yeah,
credit
right.
for that one.
Ace, my buddy Ace Castine had a rule for Star Trek and Star Wars comics. He said it's automatically disqualified if they don't make the ships look right. And like and I kind of with him because it's like he wants it to feel as much like the show or the movie as he could. Now this here is this Klingon. What's that guy? I can't get the dude's name. Getting married, and they had the bachelor party. This is a Green Orion slave girl. This was pretty goofy.
Wow.
How come her chesticle is in her armpit?
Chesticle.
Just wondering. Like her
Transporter
testicles are very far apart. And
transporter accident. That's my answer for everything.
That's definitely a transporter accident. The poor thing.
He's feeders does mean something else today, Matthew. But that's his name is Konam, and remember this is still before Worf. So he's the motion picture Klingon, and which is weird though because he should have looked more like Krug at least, but no, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're being shot at. Conan was like a. You never heard from him again, just a comic, and we're getting close to the quote unquote.
Wait,
reboot.
did you do 41?
We did 41. Yeah. Oh, this is bad.
You didn't do 41.
Didn't I?
No.
Yeah,
41. I have
41.
41. That's not 41.
It says 41 right there.
You might have been 41 volume 2.
Oh, I have something different. Okay.
You have 41 volume 2. This was the first volume.
I have a Weinstein, Wiggum, and Star.
That's the second series.
We're
getting close to the point where they stopped this and renumbered it because Trek 6 came out and totally it totally contradicted everything that went before it. Because remember, I mean, not Trek. Excuse me, Trek 4, which came out in 1986, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these comics we're going to hear still from like 1984 and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so
this is 9. This
what
is
you're looking
88,
at is 49 was the last. Let's see. Let's just see.
Oh, right. You
number
see
50
what I
was the
mean,
last
Matthew?
one.
Like it just seems like sometimes it's just I don't know. There's no heart. Do you know what I mean? Like and then there are some artists where you actually feel the heart of you feel the soul of the character on the page. Oh, that's a terrible devil. Who drew that? Oh, of course it's
Tom Cruise from I Am Legend.
And look at his member. What's happening to his member? You would think a creature that big. What's going on there? Is that Ken doll? Is that what happened there? That's Ken doll with horns, everyone. Sorry, it's just true. What's going on there?
At least he's got big horns.
Yeah, well, he needs them because blank slate everywhere else.
You're dead, Jim. Oh, Peter David. I love Peter David's writing. God. And Star Trek was getting Gordon Purcell. Yep.
Well,
I wonder if this is Peter David's first Star Trek
issue. That
issue.
actually looks like Bill. Look, that's Bill's face. Who drew this?
What issue is that?
Jerome Moore. So that's issue
Jerome
53.
Moore was a pretty decent artist.
Yeah, well, that Kirk is nice. That's
David
Bill
started
Shatner's
with
face.
issue 48.
All 48 was this is when Peter David had started on it, and then let's see,
Matthew
then 54.
Maybe
Return of Finnegan.
Monkey Jeebus. They don't reproduce that way. I love our chat.
This is better.
Oh, the Return of Finnegan.
There's at least some details
Jimmy
there.
Boy.
There's details seeing the
Jimmy Boy.
Gives a whole new meaning to pull my finger.
It's all right. It's not great, but it's all right. The ship is at least decent.
Well, the ship can still be spelled S-H-I-P.
Let's check out this one. That's one of the classic lineups. It's not well done, but it's all right.
Yeah, but at least the faces. Look, that's Leonard Nimoy. Look, that's Bill. He's a little pouty.
Yeah.
And look, that's McCoy. His face is a little fat, but at least we can recognize him.
Yep.
Right? And look, Hungry Boy's
that's the last issue. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yep. All right,
And then,
moving
then
on.
then you had annuals too. So annual 1. Oofa, what'd they do to Kirk there?
I don't know, but that doesn't look like Kirk. That looks
Yeah.
like a girl to me. That's a lady.
Annual 2, the final mission. The Enterprise saucer is totally screwed up there.
And who is that? That's not Kirk.
Yes, that's Kirk. Yep.
That's not Kirk. He looks ridiculous.
Yeah, and then Scotty's got some game here. Let's see.
What's going on with his mustache?
This is the relaunch from like 88 or 89 or something.
Yep. This is
That's
They
terrible.
brought it back.
90. It says 98 here. Yep.
That's terrible. Like, look at him. Look, that's not how people look when they're kissing.
Look
Why?
at the mustache is going onto her face.
Yeah,
That
it's
doesn't happen.
weird.
How would the mustache go over? He's got a short mustache. Oops, it looks like she's got a mustache, right? Hungry Boy, what do you think of that mustache drawing?
It's terrible. Come here, give me a kiss so I can give you my mustache.
Yeah.
Honey, I think you need a wax.
Oh, and then there's a Canadian edition, Raquel.
Ooh.
It's the same covers, but it's a Canadian edition. They did the whole thing in Canada, yep. And then we go to 4 series. And this was Peter David. Then they continued with DC.
Right.
Yep, there. That's cool. There. Yep. I have. How much is that one worth? $5-6. Yes, it's not going to set you back much. And yeah, like Mike said, they rebooted it, and I love these comics. I love these comics. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they started the numbering over again, with because ran 88 or something like that.
Wow, that definitely looks like Leonard Nimoy. Look at that profile. Like even every fold in his wonderful neck from smoking cigarettes. Like that's Leonard Nimoy's face. Who drew that?
That's Jerome Moore. So this column here is a cover.
Okay.
Yep.
It was way better with Jerome Moore.
Look at Bill. Bill looks totally normal.
Target Enterprise. Yep. The scene from the movie. Yep.
The covers, they had a lot better covers at this point, even though they had. Let's see.
Yep.
All these Jerome Moore covers.
Oh, that's a very sexy cosplay. Right? I would definitely do that cosplay.
And there's so the likenesses are much better here. Yep.
Oh yes. I mean, look at this.
The covers. I mean, I think Gordon Purcell or something did a lot of the arts, and a couple other people. At this point, if I remember right.
Yeah, see, Peter David Fry is the artist from and Jerome Moore, and
much better.
Arnie Starr is the inker,
Okay, I have some others that I want to look at.
Sure.
Before we run out of time, because we're already at 2.5 hours, so let's do this. Okay.
Plus, we're an hour later than usual too. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I'm starting to get pooped, but let's keep going. Okay, I have something called DC Annual 1990 Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's a number 1.
Oh, righty. Okay. Let's see. Go for it.
Let's see. So it's
DC Star Trek Annual 1990 Star Trek: The Next Generation, and it's number 1. It's a nice picture of Q and P Hard.
Is that it?
Stupid. Nope.
Oh, annual. You said annual. Sorry.
It says annual. Yep. DC Annual 1990.
This one. Yep.
There you go.
Oh, I have that issue.
These Jerome Moore did some of the best covers. I think he did that one. Anyway.
Yep.
This is great.
So that was 1990.
That looks terrible on screen, but if you guys see this in real life,
probably a bad scan. Yeah.
No, yes, the scan's terrible because you guys, the artwork on this is it's top notch.
And that's actually written by Delancey.
Yeah.
So that one's worth $8.50.
Shut the front door. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, I have another one called DC Star Trek: The Next Generation 44. Star Trek The Next Generation Reunion and Revelation by Friedman, Krauss, and Marcos.
Michael J. Friedman. Yeah. Pablo Marcos. Look at that.
That one.
Yeah, I'm not too.
Ensign Rowe.
I don't really
love
like
Ensign
the I don't like the art. I think the art's awful.
Yeah,
I
cover
like the
could be
angle of
better,
the
I
D
guess.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael J. Friedman wrote Trek novels too.
Yeah, I don't like this art. I think it's terrible. That doesn't look like Michael Dorn. It doesn't look like Worf. Don't like the art. So what's that one worth? Not that I care.
That one's worth $3. $3. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I don't care about that. All right, so well, I'll never sell these because as Clobby said when this whole thing began, I just love having them because I'm a massive Star Trek nerd, and I have to have all things Star Trek because I'm a massive nerd. Here we go. All right, now I have something called Malibu.
Yeah, the Malibu did Deep Space Nine.
It's a number 1. And it says At the Edge of the Final Frontier, Mike W. Barr, Gordon Purcell, and Terry Pallot or Palo, depending upon where he's from. It is signed by the artist, Gordon Purcell.
But it's a Star Trek Next Gen Malibu, you said, or
Yeah, Malibu
no,
did
this
Deep
is
Space
just
Nine.
Malibu, and it's Deep Space Nine.
okay.
And I said, I thought I said that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Yeah, it's At the Edge of the Final
Malibu,
Frontier, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and it has something special on it. So Gord Purcell signed this one, and in the center of the light in the middle.
What number is it?
It's number 1.
Okay.
It says in his handwriting in a gold pen 1726 over 10,000.
Gotcha.
And then it has a certificate of authenticity, and it says Dynamic Forces Incorporated has issued this certificate to authenticate this copy of Star Trek Deep Space Nine number 1 as one of a specially limited series of 10,000 signed by artist Gordon Purcell. Certificate number 1726.
So that's this issue here, Raquel, in my program. So see, 1DF stands for Dynamic Forces.
Yeah.
And it describes exactly as you said, autographed by Purcell, sealed by DF, a certificate of authenticity. It says run of 800. Who knows how many? It said sometimes I have the signature, but unfortunately, it's saying this is only worth $2.50. But that could be wrong. I would think it would be worth more.
There's a gold variant cover too. That's a lot more.
I have to say, Hungry Boy, are you still here, sweetheart? Hungry Boy, this At the Edge of the Final Frontier, this number 1 Malibu. I really like this art. Would you please tell me what you think? And Clobby, what do you think of this art? I think it's quite exceptional.
Oh, they were really went all out with the cover. It's a very nice cover. Let's see. I think he even used to do the interior. Well, some of them are Gordon Purcell, some of them are or what's his name you mentioned what's
Terry
Purcell.
Oh
yeah,
okay.
Purcell and stuff. Yeah. So I liked it. I always liked these covers. Now see, at the time, DC still had Next Gen and they had original TOS comics, but Malibu, which was kind of owned by Marvel at the time, if I remember right, got their hands on DS9.
Wow.
Yep, they paid for the license and scooped it away. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this person has definitely got some soul. This looks terrible on the screen, but I can tell you this number 1 issue, when you look at their faces, my goodness, Cisco, Avery Brooks, dead on. Just, oh my God, like this art in real life is so beautiful. This is great art.
They went all out for the covers. Look at that gold variant cover there.
$34. Yep.
Yeah.
Back then we had the foil. Yeah.
Those are very nice.
Foil cover fire phasers.
He says it's a lovely cover, but I liked Purcell and his ink lines are refined and listen to this. Delicate yet strong. Oh my goodness, that's exactly how I feel about this cover, Hungry Boy. This cover is gorgeous.
and he's an artist, so he should know. And there's the Purcell did the interior. I've always liked, but
so beautiful.
Gordon Purcell does a pretty decent Star Trek.
Okay, next one. I have something called IDW number 4, Burn. And my friend who passed away, who I was just getting to know, who I used to hang around with, he wanted me to learn about Burn. He's a mutual friend. Clobby knew him in real life.
The great Mark C.
And and so this one says Star Trek, Leonard McCoy, Frontier Doctor.
Frontier Doctor. That was a really good comment.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear because I'm pretty excited about reading it. I'm not sure how I feel about the art, but I am excited by the fact that this comes with some new ones that I want to talk about, and I want to know what you think of the content. So this one, you like this one?
Well, let me tell you about this one.
How come my cover looks totally different, Clobby?
There were a couple variants on this one. I have this cover. This is the cover I have.
Mine is a beautiful alien on an exam bed, and there's a doctor treating him.
That one there's the one I have, except with the color. They did they were doing variants. So here, I'll tell you about this comic. I really thought the story was kind of fun. It's been a long time since I've read it. Okay. Byrne could write good Trek. Byrne, as I've said often, I don't know if you agree with this, Pounder or Hungry Boy. It should be illegal. They should actually enact some laws of Congress or whatever to keep John Byrne from inking himself. It's very scratchy. I cannot stand Byrne inking himself. I used to talk with Mark about this a little bit. Mark C. Absolutely illegal. It should be a hate crime against nature.
I wish you guys could see the ones I have, see the one I have.
But you have number 1? You have a different version?
No, I
have
a number 4, sweetheart.
Oh, for number 4. Oh, 4. Oh, okay, 4. Yeah.
No, it's number.
There you go.
Yeah, it's number 4, and it's Star Trek Leonard McCoy Final Frontier. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are 4 issues in this too.
Frontier Doctor. Yeah.
Yep. So there's this. This one is probably one you have.
That's the one I have.
Yep.
They did a trade of this as well, but yeah, this is a fun. I thought it was a fun comic. Now it's been since it came out, since I've read it.
I can't remember reading it.
It takes place in between the end of the series and before motion picture.
Okay, this one has a $5 price tag on it. It's bagged, but it's not boarded. Please tell me it's worthless so I can read it, please.
It's worthless. Yep.
Excellent.
Well, $4.
Or you can just read the trade, but yeah.
Yeah. The most valuable one is this alternative edition, which is $8, the black and white one.
Okay.
So I'm missing number 1 somehow. I have 2, 3. I only have 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, but the most important thing is that they have a lot of new comics out there, folks. And the thing is that I wanted to make sure that this passed the sniff test, because otherwise we were going to have to pull out the Clawbony to clean up on aisle poo-poo.
Well, so, you know what
you're safe, folks at home. If you're listening in, I can't see how many people are here. I know the experts are chiming in the live chat. But if you're listening at home and you're like me and you're just learning, this is safe. This is like good Star Trek. You heard it from my great captain and from my chief.
I know what you would really like was Byrne's Star Trek Crew. So it takes place. It's basically about when the ship first launches. When Robert April's captain and number 1 it's about number 1 basically. It's about
Now you sound like Steven. Or, well, everyone on the internet called him Mark. But yeah, I knew him as Steven because I met him over Twitter. So Mark Steven Chure, what a lovely gentleman he was. And he wanted me to learn about Byrne. But yeah.
There it is. Star Trek Crew. God, I love
what a lovely person he was. So I have another one. This one is IDW, and it's issue 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it says Star Trek Mirror Images, and of course it's got Shinzon on the front of it, and then P Hard.
Some of those Mirror Images comics are pretty good. I don't know if I know this one or not, but we'll have to see. Some of them were okay. Oh, there you go. But let's see.
And I have number 3, honey.
3.
That's a bad scam, but that's actually a cool cover.
Mm-hmm. So
That
I
one's
don't really
interesting.
like the art on these. I don't think they're very. I don't think
That's
it's
a
very
photo
good.
there.
That's a
a
photo
bad
there,
scan.
yeah. But
Yeah, bad scan.
the
Yeah.
art is not my favorite.
This is actually better, not inked. I think. Yeah.
I don't have too many of these.
I
think because you know me, I get sick of people fiddling with the mirror universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have number 3 on that one, and I have Shinzon.
I don't have number 3. I don't have number 3.
Well, I have Shinzon, and he is doing a very controversial. Oh, there it is. Salute.
Yep.
I was going to say. So I have this one, and so Clubby, you're not sure if this is filth or not.
It's put it this way: at least it's the real Trek universe, one way or the other. But some of the covers are nice. But if I recall correctly, I don't think I read it. That's a good cover. I don't think I picked this series up. Byrne didn't do this one, did he? I don't think
this
so.
Is nope.
This was
Tipton.
Tipton. Tipton was an okay writer sometimes on some of these Trek books. I actually think he was all right.
I've only read. I own issue 1 and issue 2, and
but I guess
I can't remember.
I
can't remember now. This is
when was this?
God, your memory. This is
where
2008.
digital coloring starts killing off quality. Yeah, Hungry Boy.
Huh?
No, just Hungry Boy doesn't like the art either, and I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't buy it because look, the Mirror is my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I don't like what they did with it on Deep Space Nine. I even on Enterprise kind of left me cold, although it was kind of funny, those opening credits. So I probably just didn't pick this up.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
I get you. Okay, I have another one. IDW, and what does that stand for?
Independent. I can't remember.
I can't even remember. I've just been buying them so long. I'm sure I may have known at some point, but now I'm blanking on it.
This one comes with a warning in Canada that it is adult content. So it says that it's not intended for children. It's IDW issue 1. It says $3.99. It's written by Robertson. So Robert, not Robert, but Robertson. JMDY and PMDY. Very strange.
Or I don't know Star Trek or it's Star Trek IDW or it's Star Trek.
Yeah, it's Star Trek, and it's Legion of Superheroes.
Oh.
And it has a DC on the opposite side of the IDW.
That's the crossover.
Yep.
And yeah, it says this is not intended for children.
Why?
In the barcode.
I don't understand. I read that.
Here's Legion of Superheroes, right? Yeah. So IDW Publishing and DC Comics are proud to present the greatest tale of the 23rd century, or is it the 31st century? The crew of the Starship Enterprise and Legion of Superheroes come face to face as they deal with the changed history and timeline that neither knows the cause of. Traveling to the past and the future to find answers, both teams must work together to set things right.
Why? Yeah, I mean, I read that. Why would they say that it was for adults or whatever? I mean,
yeah, that's weird.
I love, as you well know.
Yes,
my name Jeffrey Moy, and I love the Legion and I love Real Trek. When this came out, as dumb an idea as it is for them to cross over, I looked at it and goes, "Wow, that's my Legion," even though it doesn't all of them. They look like the real Legion, and that's Real Trek. Oh my God! And they had various different covers, and I bought it all and I read it all, and it was kind of goofy.
Okay.
Is that a Keith
But
Giffen
this
cover?
is not filth, though.
2011.
No, it's kind of fun. Was that a Keith Giffen cover or something?
Yep.
So yeah, I don't like the art on this because it looks too computerized. I'm not a big fan, but I was intrigued by it, so I picked it up.
Some of the art and some of the interiors is okay.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. IDW. This one is $7.99, but I paid $9 for it. And it says Star Trek New Visions Resistance. And it's all photographs.
That's Byrne.
Oh, it's number 6.
Remember the photo novels?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what this is. Byrne, for a long time after he stopped drawing, he started learning, he picked up Photoshop. What he does is just like a photo. He takes pictures that are already from the series and he arranges them in a way and he puts captions and he makes a little fumetti, as he used to call those books, and he makes his own Star Trek story. I bought them. They were like $9. I used to buy these for.
They're not cheap.
Did so many of them. They're not cheap. I think I bought this one.
So these are good to read, and this is what Mark Steven wanted me to read.
Some of them are okay. They did one that was a sequel to Where No Man Has Gone Before with Gary Mitchell. I thought it was very skeptical. I actually thought the story wasn't bad. I think I bought this one probably, but he did a ton of these.
I don't think I bought any of these because I didn't like the concept of the photos.
They called them like
I would see them every week in the store, and I'm like,
they used to have a term for it. They weren't photo novels. They called them photo novels, those old ones. They had a term called fumetti or whatever. It's like it was using pictures with comic book captions.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I have number 6
they were $8.
And I have number 17.
Star Trek X-Men crossover. Oh boy, that was terrible.
And the number 17 is different than number 6 because number 17 is a hardback like a book.
Oh, maybe like a compilation of a couple of them or something.
Yeah, see that? The cover is hard as a rock. Like it's stiff. It's like it's almost as if it's like a hardback, but
it might be double sized.
Like the card, it's cardstock that it's enveloped in.
Yes, they're
well, that's part of the reason the book was so expensive.
They used to call it prestige format. Was it like was it $9? Like
$9 here in Canada, I paid for them.
$8 here, yeah.
Yeah, it's called prestige format, as they used to call them.
And that's all I have, guys.
Extra money.
Now everyone on the internet knows all the comics I own.
Fumetti began in Italy as an ancillary stuff to movies. Yep.
Nice.
Fumettis. Remember these?
We won't show the tricorder tonight because then you'll really be.
It is to drown. 18 of these suckers. And they were like $10 a pop almost.
Oh yeah.
I dropped them after a while, and they were okay, but they were kind of. I was like, look, dude, you're just using Photoshop. He's using pictures from the series to do his own little story. I don't know. I love those old photo novels, but I mean, they were kind of like a novelty in a sense, and they were episodes, by the way. They weren't him using Photoshop.
Do you remember that toy?
Yes, I never bought it.
A Viewmaster.
Yeah, yep. Viewmaster.
When I saw them, I thought that they reminded me of Viewmaster. So I thought, I'm going to buy those because how badly can they mess it up? It's not like they can add filth people. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you can't add filth people, you can only stick with OG. So I thought Viewmaster it is. So I bought them. Yeah, and Hungry Boy doesn't like it. Yeah, I know. I agree. But I was desperate to try and
no, I hear you.
You know what's funny, Hungry Boy? Is my marvelous adult daughter she thinks that it's just ridiculous how much into Star Trek I am. She is the one who bought all of the quality stuff, and I'm the one who bought the stuff that was suspect because I went into the comic book store and I was just like, I didn't know anything about comics because this is way before I ever knew Clobby and Mark, and so I bought these, and my daughter, who is a genius, decides that she's just going to walk in and school me and get me comics that Clobby goes, oh, that's a good one. So, hail my daughter, who is a genius, a brilliant, brilliant woman. And I am so happy that I got to share this collection with you guys. And the IDW ones, all of the suspect content you saw this evening was not purchased by my brilliant daughter, who evidently knows way more about comics way before I ever did.
I've never read him. I didn't like the whole idea of him. This looks like a CGI alien here added on.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked them in the comic book shop, what a Trekkie I am, and I'd open them up like $8, and I'm like, these are all pictures from the episode, and I love Byrne, but I'd rather see Byrne draw.
He don't draw anymore. He hasn't drawn anything since the early 2000s because he's doing this crap.
What year is this? What year is this?
Oh,
2015.
Okay.
Is that far
in
back?
2014 to 2018.
Okay, in 2014, I walked into a comic book shop with my husband, and I just said, "Look, I don't want anything new. I just want to get like some good comics." And he was like, "Okay." So then he saw these and he showed these to me, and I was like, "Oh, all right, look, it's the original crew. Let's get these.
Yeah, I
And-
could see why you'd buy it. Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, yeah. I bought
because
them
I was a
for a while.
nincompoop. I didn't know. Now I know.
Well, we both. I
And-
bought these for a few, but not all of them. But I
Hmm.
bought it for when they first came out because I kind of liked photo novels, and I read a couple. You know, after a while, it just kind of wore off. Because look at him. If you notice all these covers, everything he just does. I can't believe there's 21 of them. Everyone's a rehash. There's core. Everyone
Yeah.
has something from the TV friggin' show. Like
Yeah.
you know,
It
I
had
love
to
the
be,
show.
right? Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, core, really? I mean, everything he
Yeah.
does is kind of a rip off of something. And look, I've got my issues with Byrne, but he should have been drawing these Trek comics because
Yeah, if he drew them, that'd be
he wrote
awesome.
and drew some pretty good Trek comics. Of course,
Yeah,
he
but
can't draw anymore.
he was smart in one way, that he knew that dum-dums like me, like people that are totally naive and don't know anything about comics, when we walked into the store, we just did not want to see any filth, and we did not want to own filth. So you see those covers and you're like, oh, look, filth free. There's no poo
Right.
in this comic. So, I
Right.
mean, in that way, I guess he was quite
Oh.
savvy to knowing that the original Trekkies, the 735, did not want filth. So he was feeding that
True.
appetite. And it's unfortunate, but I will tell you this. There's absolutely no way that I could go on reading them. I think I've read a
Look at
part
that,
of
see?
number 6, and then I was like, this is kind of boring.
Every one of them is
Yeah.
derivative. Now, again, they're cool. They look nice. But there's a city, the Guardian of Forever and Gary 7. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like really every one of these. Look at every cover. And look, there's Carolyn, what's her name? From Who Mourns for Adonis.
That
Yeah.
is. What's her last name? You guys,
Shit.
it's
Can't
so
remember
late.
now.
Can't think.
Yeah, she was gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah,
Carolyn.
she was absolutely gorgeous, and
Every
and,
cover's a ripoff.
and
But
she
you're right.
and she bled after they pulled that glue off of her.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Byrne used to shop in my local comic book store once in a while.
Get
too,
out of
so-
town.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
You
you
say,
even heard the
don't
story
talk
about
to me.
so when Byrne came in, Byrne was in there talking to the owner, and some kids came in like, "Oh, we're looking for some X-Men's drawn by John Byrne," which is hysterical. And so Byrne is at the counter talking to Paul. Paul's like, "Yeah, but his early stuff was really bad." And then he had Byrne's first Marvel issue. I think it was Iron Fist was his first.
Yes.
Yeah, so he had Iron Fist. He's like, yeah, like, but his first stuff, his early stuff was really terrible. I mean, look at that Iron Fist, how bad it is. And Burns there laughing, he's like chuckling himself. He says, yeah, he was really bad in the beginning. He was kind of,
Shoot, that was his
so they're
best
going
stuff.
back and forth, and the kids leave and like never. And Byrne never wanted people to know who he was, so
funny.
So he said, the kids left and never knew they were standing next to John Byrne at the
That's
counter,
funny.
like looking for Byrne issues. So
Hungry Boy says, "Hooray! Or hooray for your lovely daughter, Hungry
Yes.
Boy." I raised my absolutely brilliant and accomplished daughter on Star Trek. And I was actually thinking about asking Clobby if at the close of a couple of the series that we could do or Clobby could maybe interview her on what it
Sure.
was like growing up as a legacy Star Trek fan. And
Yes.
I
you can
asked,
only watch 3 shows on TV.
Yes, let's say Raquel's daughter.
TOS
Did
animated.
your mother torture you with Star Trek all your life?
basically, so like she grew up with like crushes on certain characters. So yeah, so it's just, and she's a 735er, of course. She would never watch the filth.
Good.
So I'm very excited about this idea of Clobby interviewing her
That'd be great.
on what it's like to be a legacy Star Trek person, because Clobby and I are very interested, and I know Mark is as well,
Sure.
in this idea of passing on the torch, to pass the baton on in this marvelous 735 relay. And so we love Katie Carr. We love Esh Singh. We love all of these really young people that are coming into the fandom, and they want the original stuff. And it's really cool to have a kid, like just a very young person. I don't want to use kid because that's so disrespectful, but to have a young person be interested in watching something from the 60s and thinking that it's just absolutely amazing, and investing their time and having the attention span to imbibe this wonderful material and come out on the other end of it being completely in love with it. So yeah, I find the whole idea intriguing. My daughter, who will of
Yeah.
course appear anonymously, Katie Carr, Esh Singh, these beautiful young people who actually care about this and want to carry on the 735 legacy. So Hungry Boy, I hope we can do something like that, and I think it would be very eye-opening to meet a young 735er. I think it would blow everyone away.
Oh, Raquel,
That
this
would
is
be
a great
great.
issue here. I don't know if you've probably read these, Mike. Trial of James D. Kirk.
That was actually pretty good. It was weird. Some of it was Peter David.
Yep, I really like that one. Yep. So that was.
Do you think it was kind of Sliss Bella Ox mix there?
Yeah. I don't know why these scans are so bad, but I'll have to rescan some of these.
Well, people don't understand that that they have to take care with the DPI.
Well, here's a better scan. Here's a better scan.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the mug. That's Bella Ox mix.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's even got the tobacco and air on the barcode. Look at that.
The president from, yep, it's got the president from Trek 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I remember those.
jerks.
I just remember liking this.
Kirk's a jerk.
Those episodes. Yep.
Kirk as a jerk.
Danger, danger. Bill Mummy.
Bill the Mummy. That's right. Bill the Mummy.
Lovely.
So next week we'll have to show the Juan tricorder, Raquel.
Listen, we can't do that this week because I'm going to die.
I said next week.
You're gonna,
next
yeah,
week.
I know, but I want to
yeah.
see it this week, but I can't because I
It's too
will
late.
die.
It's too late. Yeah.
What we'll do next week is we'll do that, and we'll stay with some Trek comics. We'll show you. How about we show people some good Trek comics that they should probably try to pick up?
Yes, please. I just I don't know how many people stayed with us, but people were really excited about this when they were like, "What?" A few people in the chat, I don't know if they're still here, but they were like, "You guys are going to talk about Star Trek comics?" And I know Jeffrey was having a good time with it. He really enjoyed this topic. So I just want to tap your mind, Clobby, you're a comic genius. I'm sticking to that. And I made his intro extra. You can say outro, but I believe that outro has an accumulative connotation of a musical work. So an extra is what we say in radio. So that you can say extra or outro. Doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah. I forget what I was saying now. What was I saying?
About what comics to read for Star Trek, good comics, or Mike was saying?
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. I'm getting tired. But everyone was really excited about this. So if we could do that next week, and you and Mark could point us in the direction of some really great comics for Star Trek, I know everyone would be absolutely thrilled. And the reason why I lost my train of thought, believe it or not, I'm going to be 1,000% honest at the risk of sounding like a psycho. I am so excited. And I'm not the kind of person who has the kind of character to be jealous. Like, it's just not something I feel. I've never felt that way. I know that's strange, but I have a very unique personality. I'm an INTJ, and I don't really feel covetous about anything towards anyone. I actually feel joy when other people get something that's amazing, but I'm actually feeling a tinge covetous because my friend Mark has done the ultimate evil thing. He has got himself involved with the wand company, the magic. I think it's called Magic Wand Company, and these people are infamous for actually making props from Star Trek better than they were on set. So many of you know the tricorder was actually made out of tape recorder that bands and reporters used to use back in the day. And so that's why it very much looks like that tape recorder that had the cute little black mic with a little bit of silver over the pickup area of the microphone. Well, this company, this Magic Wand company, has gone and taken that, so the original, and they're actually like fabricating it to make it so as if it were real. So, you know how like Cooper said that he was inspired to create the cell phone when he saw Kirk holding his communicator and he was forever changed. Well, this Magic Wand company is in essence doing that, only they're sticking really close to the source material. So we're going to see a better than on set tricorder, and Mark's going to show it to us, and you'll understand why I lost my train of thought when I was talking, because
You're
I was
just
thinking about
it,
this,
right? Yeah.
dreaming about it, and just the fact that there's no way I could ever afford it, but it is like, it's a piece of art. Like, I know this sounds psycho, so please don't think I'm a complete weirdo, but for me, this is tantamount to having like a Picasso. I love fine arts. I'm a nerd. I'm not a geek. But this thing that Mark is going to show us next week is going to blow your minds so much. It's a work of art, and it's going to be sensational. And later, I'm going to get on a plane. I'm going to fly to Mark's house. I'm going to kick him in both of his shins. I'm going to ask his wife if I can have it. And then I'm going to fly back to Canada.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I will send him a cake, though. I'll send him like a cake.
Send him a cake, yeah.
I'll send him a cake and a sorry note and shin guards.
Ouchie, ouchies, yep. But yeah, it does look gorgeous. I mean, what they're doing with the tricorder, so it's
nice.
It's just beautiful.
Feel free to hate him, everyone. Hate Mark.
I don't have it yet. It hasn't gone on sale. There's no price yet, so you never know what Santa Claus will bring you, though, right?
But you're on the list, right?
Yeah, but you can get on the list too.
I know, but I can't afford that list. It's like Mark has showed up to the auction, and somebody is auctioning off like a Pollock, and Mark has his paddle and he's ready to bid. Me, I'm standing in the foyer looking in the room, trying not to move my hands so nobody decides that I want to bid. This is way too rich for my blood, and yeah, it's going to be something special. And yeah, there are going to be all the shin kicks. This guy's going to need some
lots of
soccer,
shin kicks, yeah.
professional soccer shin guard protection after the season.
Oh, look at that! Oh.
Yep.
Oh, there's the.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it in detail.
Just go up,
yeah,
just
we'll
go
talk about
up,
it next week.
Let's just show a little bit. Oh, hi.
Just so Raquel can dream tonight.
Yeah, and can you just go down a little bit more, because I think this is where it shows the screens. Does it? Oh no, the screens aren't here. It's on another page. It's okay.
Well, because it's the
up.
yeah. Well, they don't have. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Here.
Yeah.
Here's the. Yeah. Well, if you want to see the
first shot. There's Edith Keeler. Look at Edith Keeler. Yeah, first shots, but you have to see the Edith Keeler screen.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, the Edith Keeler screen on it. Yep.
Can you show the Edith Keeler screen, please?
Yep. There you go. Yep.
Oh look, like it will produce the Edith Keeler's newspaper article. Look at.
They redid it. Yep.
Look at Joan Collins. She's so beautiful.
She's gorgeous. Yep. That's beautiful.
Okay, now go back to the other. Go back to the where you were going to show the nice close up of it. Let's get off of Edith Keeler. Go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
there. First shots. Go to first shots. Oh my God! It's almost a sexual experience. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful. For me, I was just happy because I have Diamond Select, so I actually have the array So I like Diamond Select because the array is active. And of course, my buttons function and stuff, but not to this level. And look at the encasement. The encasement is actually on par with what you could expect from one of the recorders that they post fabricated that the reporters used to use. I grew up with one because I grew up in a professional band, like an actual working professional band. That doesn't really exist anymore because of internet and so on and so forth. But yeah, like a working on tour band. So that's what they were fabricated from for the show. But here we have an actual from the start fabrication of what a tricorder would be if it were real. And it is
The
just
discs do things too. The disc will
Yeah.
actually do things, unfortunately, add to it. Yep.
Yeah, look at
Wow.
this.
Yeah,
It's
we weren't gonna
almost
do
a
the-
sexual experience, like the hate that is going to come on Mark's way. You will be cheering for me to get on that plane, fly down to go and see Mark, and kick him in both of his shins really hard.
Yeah.
Terrible human being, and I can't
we
wait
want-
to celebrate with you next week, sir.
Yeah, my shin. Good thing I played hockey. I got shin pads.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll wear them
communicator.
next week.
I'd love that.
I didn't buy that. I should have bought that. Oh, you can get that on eBay still, folks. But it's
Yeah, but you know
cost
what
you
he
300
did
to
do?
$500.
Yeah, but you post fabbed your brass cover on yours.
Yeah, I bought the first Diamond Select, which had a brass cover. Yep.
That's right. I have the Diamond Select where the array works, but I don't have the brass cover. I have the plastic cover because I'm Canadian and these are difficult to get and quite expensive. So in Canada, in order to import them, they're around 100 Canadian dollars. So I always put it off and I always put it off, and then I wound up missing the boat on the brass
Nice.
on the brass cover.
Wow.
So now we've probably lost the entire audience due to my ridiculous nerdiness, and I do apologize.
Love it.
My buttons don't work that well on my old trash card. Uh-oh. Come on, buttons.
Mine do.
Supposed to speak.
Oops.
Come on, buttons.
Mine do.
Oh,
Here,
that's too bad.
hold on for 1 second. My dog's sleeping on me. Hold on, I'll grab mine. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Hold on. Here. All right. So the Diamond Select is the cherry to get because the array works. Now, if you get the Playmates, the problem with the Playmates is that the Playmates has a sticker instead of an array, which sucks. Wait, here we go.
This is the captain. Enterprise to Mr. Spock. Spock here, Captain. Transport room. Ready to beam up. Enterprise to Mr. Spock. Right here, Captain. Spock here, Captain. This is the captain.
And the other button, as Mark will tell you, the one in the center, is the one that you use to program. So when you're cosplaying, when you're at the
record,
con,
right?
you press it, and then what ends up happening is you get hailed. So it creates a pause. What's the pause again? I think it's 2 minutes. And then your communicator will go off. And so you answer your communicator. So it allows you to fully, at that point, you're not even cosplaying. At that point, you're LARPing. But, good night, Eric. I love you. Good night, honey.
Take care, Eric.
I
Have
love
a
you.
good one,
Good
brother.
night, hon.
Take care, Eric.
And just so you know, at the just so we'll talk about it next week, but the Diamond Select tricorder, which is also the premium, don't get the Playmates, get the Diamond Select. That also has the call feature, so you can actually be using it and you can get called on it as well.
Tough to read, but that's the Diamond Select one. Yep.
Yeah, the Diamond
Unfortunately,
Select one is the best one.
My button here is not is malfunction, so Scotty's got to fix this. See? This
Yeah, you
button
better
works,
fix that.
but let's see what probably the contacts went, or I got to take it apart then and check the button there.
But the Diamond Selects are great. So, Mark, show show the hood on that communicator. Could you hold it up to the screen, please? So Hungry Boy, was it Hungry Boy? Yeah, it was Hungry Boy. Okay, so could you turn it back so that we could see the back of it? And don't close it. So you see that? That's brass. Isn't that beautiful? So Mark was telling me, because of course Mark's an engineer in real life. He was telling me that I could probably do this for around 60 to 80 bucks to retrofit mine with the brass. I have exactly that, except for mine is made out of some type of plastic. I'm not sure what type of plastic. It's a completely different plastic than the rest of the rest of the communicator, though.
Unfortunately, yeah, they cut costs and went to plastic. So
yeah,
but just doesn't have, and of course it has a great. You can't tell, but it has a great feel to it when you go like that versus with the plastic one. I have one with the plastic, and it's just not as
well.
good,
The one with the plastic, you really have to give
really
it a go.
have to flip it hard. Yep.
Yeah, so you have to be pretty melodramatic, which I don't mind doing when I'm cosplaying. But yeah, the brass one's much nicer because it's more of a Captain Kirk fluid, sort of nonchalant. Yeah, I read Spinoza and I'm great. Anyway, I love it.
So, yep. So,
oh, you have the Delta, Monkey Jeebas. Okay, so which Delta do you have? I actually have all of the Deltas. In every variety, I collect them all. The one that I like the very least is the one made by. Oh, I have it put away right now because we did the floors in the house. But there's one that I have that's, I forget who made it. But what I don't like about it is that it's done with magnets, and the magnets are so powerful that the whole Delta is so heavy that it cannot be worn. But it is like 100% accurate. But even the ones on the show were not like solid brass or whatever this one is. Anyway, we'll talk about that next week.
Good stuff. All good stuff. Yep. So it makes Star Trek so fun, collecting all these props and things. Yep. Love it.
Well, yeah, the on-set quality props are just absolutely like, they're just wonderful, especially if you cosplay like I do. They just, I don't know, they just feel beautiful. They're just wonderful. I just absolutely love them. I would like to get the Diamond Select phaser, the original phaser. So the one with the black, not the black just
one,
yep. Yeah, not the one with the blue. But anyway, we'll cover all that. Let's do a little segment on sure. Which Star Trek toys. Or well, I shouldn't say toys because they're not toys. The replica props. You and I, maybe if Clobby will put up with us for a little while, we could talk about that.
Sure,
Mark.
I'm sure he won't mind. Yep.
Yeah, we could teach people about why we're saying the Playmates isn't as good as the Diamond, and yeah, and we'll get into all that stuff, and we'll talk about the different features and stuff like that, because you're the only other person I know that is actually knows what I'm talking about when I talk about this stuff. So, and
I got a lot of Star Trek stuff, wise, toy wise, and ship wise. We could do a segment on ships. I think I almost have every ship.
Yeah.
From the collection. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll get into that, and Clobby will let us know if they suck or not, because he has a very keen eye. I don't know, Clobby, I've never asked you, do you collect the replica props?
Oh, I can't. I never could afford those. I've had. I don't know if it was Diamond, but I have a communicator. It was a pretty good one, but I don't think it was as good as that. So I don't know if it was Diamond, but no, I don't have any. I used to want to get them, but I can't even get action figures anymore. But I have a ton of those. Not in Mark's league though. Or yours.
Oh yeah, Mark's in an entirely different league. He's in a league all unto his own that we're like, the guy should just be shin kicked so much. You know what I mean? He's a beautiful human being. He's our friend. I love him. He has a beautiful wife, wonderful kids. He's an upstanding member of his community. He's smart. He's funny. He's great to be around. He likes all the same stuff I like.
I'm blushing. God.
But you know what? He's
No,
a
no,
real rotten.
Now I really hate him.
Yeah, you know what I
Remember
mean?
You know the line from Tombstone.
Yeah.
It appears Mr. Ringo is an educated man. Now I really hate him.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like you think such a good guy like that, he wouldn't go rubbing a girl's nose in it. But he's going to show this magic wand. Oh, look
Hey,
through his
damn
See,
eye.
there we go. Damn
Yeah.
it.
Look
Let's
through
show
his
that there.
eye. Look through his eye.
Steve Austin, a man
I
barely
see
alive.
you.
We'll talk about that tonight. Yep.
We can rebuild him.
This is a
We can
room full
rebuild
of.
him.
We let him for better,
Just found this.
stronger, faster. We have the ability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man.
Great show.
I love
Never
that
missed it
Oh,
when I was a
show.
Tom's
kid.
there. Hail, Tom.
Where? Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, Tom, what's up, buddy? We were talking about, well, everything. Star Trek comics, Star Trek props, and now we're $6 million man toy. That's, well, because we were beating up on Eternals.
Well,
We
yeah.
were-
Mark and I suffered through Eternals.
It took us 3 hours to talk about Eternals, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah,
It
we
was
talked
so
about
good.
Eternals.
It was
No,
so
we
good,
talked
yeah.
about Eternals first, and that's why we had to talk about something fun after that crap.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Mark. Yeah, we chased everybody away with all of our talk about Star Trek comics and all
Only
this
the
stuff.
only
Here's
the
something.
massive nerds and the gigantic geeks stayed. Yeah.
Damn it!
Can I
his
show
head
you
was
that?
big.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't like is that the TOS version of the bobblehead speaks. Khan doesn't speak. That bobblehead doesn't speak.
You are better off for it, Tom. I didn't get to hear Andre's review. I heard him talking to RMB at the end of that show, but I think Andre probably understated how horrible that movie was because he's a nice guy. I don't know. Eternals is a piece of absolute dog shit, and it sucks.
Yeah, here's
and it sucks,
here's
and it's crap, and it's drivel, and it sucks, and it's crap, and it's crap. Yeah, he didn't
here's
like
my
it.
sign.
I heard he didn't like it. And it did break a record though. It only took 2 seconds to piss me off with the opening. As soon as it explained how it's not Kirby and there's nothing Kirby about it and how it screwed up. Well, we talked all about it anyway. And we're gonna be doing it again tomorrow night on here with reviewing it with Nicholas and Mark and J-Man and all that stuff. So it's Garbaggio.
Mark,
was really
did you
bad.
put batteries in Restless Leg Spider-Man?
Oh, he's solar powered actually.
Oh, is he solar powered? That boy needs
Yeah.
some sun.
You need some light. Yeah, it's the wintertime here now. It's almost so.
That's
Yeah,
always
well,
obscene.
you
There he
gotta
goes,
get that.
there he
Get
goes.
that boy
There-
some
there he
light.
goes, see?
There he goes.
That's
There he
always
goes, yeah.
obscene.
I love your office. I love it when you have your camera on because your office is so much fun.
Oh, that's my new Star Wars poster in the background board that I got too. I got to do
Oh,
a video
I
on that.
see.
Yep. So that's reclaimed art, and that's actually a Burger King poster or
Oh,
print.
no way.
So it's in public domain. So I met people in Maine, and they do everything in the public domain.
Oh,
So
nice.
the corporations can't go after them. So they were doing patents, and I guess that's a Burger King art that was in public domain. So I walked by it, and we're in like one of these craft fairs that was like in Maine, like soap and honey and all these things. And we walked by, and the missus is like, figures there'd be some Star Wars or Star Trek stuff. And they're like, what the heck is this doing here?
Yeah,
Hey, Rich.
yeah.
Hey, Red
The
shirt.
bane of her existence.
So
It's
like,
a
where you-
scourge.
She's like, where are you going to put that? I'm like, I'll find a spot.
Hey, just another red shirt's here.
Hey, Red shirt. What's up,
Hey,
bro?
red shirt.
Well, I guess we got a lot to do tomorrow, so we may as well wrap it up because
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I gotta
next-
do show prep. And my dogs are bugging me to eat. We've been on for 3.5 hours. I love you both. I had a wonderful time.
It's great hanging out
well,
with you guys. Yep.
thank you so much, Raquel. Show notes. All right, everyone. Tomorrow night, because we only beat up on Eternals a little bit, we're gonna have. I'll just put it to you like this. Not only will Mark D with the CB be there with me, a good buddy J-Man, his buddy Sean, Nick Weiser might show up with us. Loki might even show up. I don't know for sure. He said he might if he actually watches the crap. And then if he watches it, it's going to be my fault. I told Loki, I said, don't watch it, dude. I mean, it's bad enough we're going to have to watch it. But 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, a special Clobberin Times movie review
Of the Eternals.
Eternals.
Yeah, show the other screen.
Oh, God.
Show the other screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the ugly
the
laugh.
Clobberin. So,
Get the Clobberin out.
Yeah. At least it shows something good there. Sorry. All right. Well, and then, anyway, there's that, folks. And then, what the hell's wrong with my screen? There we go. Okay. And then Saturday night, please join us for Saturday Night Star Trek. 4 more episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. 4 more episodes reviewed. We're getting close to the end of season 3. Well, hello there, Mr. Tickle Trunk. It is good to see you, my friend.
Hey, nice to see you.
Yeah, all right.
He's a smart and funny person. Oh my goodness.
We love Mr. Tickle Trunk. Yeah.
He was great last Saturday. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. We thank you, and we thank you all for being here. Everyone who was here tonight, those who stuck with us, and anyone those who had to run out. So many wonderful people. Appreciate you so much. Everyone, please have a wonderful weekend. And whatever you're doing, take care of yourselves. And a big thank you, of course, to my wonderful first officer, the amazing Raquel Briggs, and of course the greatest engineer in the fleet, Mark D with a C.
Yes.
Mark Monkey Jeebus, thank you for being here. Tom, it was great seeing you stop in. It's always an honor, sir.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Tickle Trunk again, thank you. Hungry Boy, brother, thank you.
Yep.
Master of the Cloboni. Stuart Mitchell, never forget.
Dolly had braces.
Dolly had friggin' braces. I'm trying to, it takes me a while to get to it sometimes. Oh, yeah, again, my 2 spinner rack videos are out now. They both dropped this week. So November, the spinner rack time machine is moving now. Let's see. That's about it. That's about all the announcements. Thank you so much. Everyone have a great. Everyone. Who else, by the way? What's that?
I was gonna say, don't go see Eternals.
Oh, got to be okay. No, there we go. Just making sure we had some problems there. Dolly had braces. Don't go see Eternals, and everyone else who showed up here tonight. We can't remember them all, of course. Red Shirt, good to see you. Thank you, Matthew Pounder. Thank you, buddy. You're all fantastic. Whoever else popped in, I can't remember
Mr.
everyone.
Grant Gregory.
Yeah, Mr. Grant Gregory was here. That's right. Good to see you, buddy.
Cockney Spock was here.
Cockney Spock did pop in. That's right. I can't remember everyone. So, again, thank you. Oh, Joe Decepticon did as well. And we'll be talking to him tomorrow, hopefully. So, have a wonderful rest of the night, gang. And we will see you, as they used to say, in the funny papers. I never knew what that means, but here we go. Kal-El! Thank you! And Sherry! And Courtney! Monkey Jeebus, thank you as well. Have a good